policy work, which was mostly focused on development of new strategy in agriculture and food security sector. The food security team did a lot of work and actually achieved one of the main goals of the project, which was development of the new strategy. And unfortunately, yes, the strategy has not been adopted by government, but we did our best and mobilized multi-stakeholder expert groups, and during the 2 years we developed the final draft. But the existing of strategy is not enough to guarantee the proper implementation and monitoring definitely to ensure the effectiveness of the strategy. So the team decided to give a floor to multi-stakeholder platform, which is Agricultural Alliance in Armenia. It consists of 16 main actors working in agricultural sector, and actually provide the capacity to Agricultural Alliance on monitoring of policy in agriculture and food security strategy policy monitoring. Actually, there is a gap of CSO's involvement in public monitoring, and realizing this gap, we really start thinking about this capacity building and using the expertise of Agricultural Alliance members, expert groups. We developed the monitoring framework, mostly focusing on 4 main priorities of the strategy for further monitoring and evaluation. And you may probably know that among the 17 main priorities and strategy objectives of the strategy are the development of agricultural cooperatives in Armenia, agricultural insurance, food safety, and gender, the mainstreaming for all policies. And definitely this opportunity will increase the visibility and credibility of Agricultural Alliance in monitoring and engagement and collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture. So you can see these main areas, and the monitoring on agricultural cooperative development will focus on assessment and audit of the existing cooperatives, and definitely the recommendation will be provided to the government. The agriculture insurance focusing on impact assessment of pilot insurance projects, because now the international organizations started the implementation of pilot projects, and food safety. The food safety also a very hot issue in Armenia, and recently the team started collaborating with the state food safety department. And there are a lot of opportunities of public monitoring with this agency, and this support would be provided to government in implementation and monitoring of their strategies. Gender, it's a mainstreaming, and our colleagues will tell you more in details, but I would like to mention briefly, next slide, about the gender work. And next. So I think we will present jointly with Levan. Now I'm giving floor to Levan for the next slide.
Good morning, my name is Levan Dadliani. I'm the Economic Justice Program Manager of Oxfam Georgia program. Today I have a pleasure and opportunity to present to you our work in the field of our policy influencing work in the field of the access to finance. this particular project, apart from the food security policies and strategies influencing work, has been given the particular emphasis to the access to finance issues for the smallholders. Both countries are very much reliant on the smallholders. They represent the majority of the mass of the agricultural producers, and the core problem that they're facing is the lack of their access to capital and to credit and to the finance. So our panel in Georgia, we have done quite a multifaceted work in elaborating policy recommendations with regard to tackling this particular problem. We have worked with the civil society platform, which is called GARD, Georgian Alliance for Agriculture and Rural Development, in a very close collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, which is present here, and the Ministry of Agriculture of Georgia, and I have a pleasure to welcome them, these representatives as well. So particularly these four areas that we have conducted quite a substantial research, and we built the evidence base for the policy recommendations. And I will just, of course, we will expand during the panel discussion in details, but I will just list them down. This is the capital investment schemes for smallholder farmers and their cooperatives. In this particular subfield, we have conducted quite a vast research in identifying the barriers for the smallholders. And as well as we have assessed the ongoing state investment programs and their modalities and what areas these programs represent for the smallholders to get access. Plus the agro-credit interest subsidy schemes. This is the ongoing state program in Georgia, and it is quite a vast support program. It has facilitated almost $500 million investment from the banking sector to the agriculture, although this particular program still has limitations for getting access by the smallholders for the moment. The third one, we have elaborated very interesting proposition for tackling the smallholders' access to the finance through establishment and development of the so-called loan guarantee fund. This particular proposition is now being considered within the Ministry of Agriculture, and we will try also during the panel discussion to touch upon this issue and touch upon the certain experiences and opportunities in this particular regard. And last but not least, we have also researched on the existing institutional market for the food. Each state spends a certain amount of money from the state budget for food purchases, for the penitentiary system, healthcare system, military, kindergartens, and so on. And we found very interesting opportunities. If the local production is access to this institutional market, a lot of problems can be tackled. So this is very shortly a short outline of the panel on the access to finance, and we will try to expand this during the panel. Maybe just agree on gender, or?
Just briefly mention about the huge work done by the team on gender analysis and mainstreaming of main policy and strategies on national and regional level. I would like to mention, I think, our expert from the Agricultural Alliance here, and they will lead the next plenary session. But I would like to mention about this achievement done by the project. This strategy, mentioned strategy, the draft was passed under the detailed and profound gender mainstreaming analysis using our gender expert from Agricultural Alliance, and also having serious intervention in Tavush region, which is one of our target region within the economic justice program. We did also conduct the mainstreaming through research on the social economic development plan of the region, and having the very solid recommendation provided to the government, to the regional government. Those one team was engaged in the development of new next 16, 19 social economic plan development, and actually that was the unique opportunity to to engage the international and CSOs organization in the development process. And also, thanks to our expert, gender expert, the mandatory guide adopted by the government on gender mainstreaming of such social economic development regional plans was adopted and developed. And now, during the development of different regions of Armenia, they should use such a mandatory guide. So all these gender recommendations were provided to national and regional levels and give a flow for the next, monitoring activities on gender policy monitoring, again for agricultural lines. And as I mentioned, on those main 4 topics, agricultural cooperatives, insurance, gender, and food safety, with collaboration with the experts of agricultural lines, was developed the monitoring framework, which is the unique document and the tool for the further monitoring of adopted strategy. And by the way, I would like to suggest to government to use this framework, because as far as we know, there is no such a framework within the agriculture ministry. So I think it can be the greatest opportunity for collaboration.
Yeah, from our side, we will also present the gender-sensitive recommendations for sensitizing the agricultural development strategy of Georgia that has been elaborated. Within the frame of our program, it has been presented to the Ministry of Agriculture on the level of the Deputy Minister and the Head of Department of Policy and Analytics, and our gender expert, Khadija Ali, will lead the panel and will present all this in details together with the panelists.
Let's start. Before the group raise the question, may I ask you the first question? What are the main challenges and priorities of government for the future, for the further development of agricultural strategies in Armenia? Are there any new approaches, strategies related to this sector? Definitely would like to hear also about the food security, so part of agriculture. Thank you.
I would like to say that government now, Minister of Agriculture now is taking very much importance of developing the efficient agriculture. And by means of establishing new technologies in Armenian regions, for example, we are supporting the drip irrigation system installment. We are shifting to intensive agriculture, meaning that establishing intensive orchards, or we are supporting for anti-hail nades, or providing subsidy loans to processors, because usually we are having problems when during the harvest time, when the farmers bring their yields to processors, sometimes we are having problems that processors are not having cash to pay to farmers. That's why we have developed this channel, so we provide them a subsidized loan, so processors will be able to take that loan and pay directly to farmers. This is with regards of your subsidy channels. With regards of gender, I think that our priorities as well is the engagement of women in agriculture as well as the younger generation. By that, we are trying to make agriculture more attractive and trying to show that agriculture is could be considered as a business. And except that, we are our Another approach is the seed production boosting. By that we are trying to replace the import of seeds by local produce. This problem is usually arising when the foreign seeds are not adaptable in Armenian conditions, or the prices are usually expensive. So the impact of these approaches, we think that will be will result to a sustainable agriculture. One more thing I would like to add is creating or making people more knowledgeable in the field of agriculture. We have plans to establish colleges, agriculture colleges in different regions of Armenia. So by that, again, the younger generation should, from the old generation, the knowledge and experience we are trying to transfer to a younger generation. Thank you.
Thank you. And just talking about the future generation, young generation and education, which is one of the important base for the development of the area. Could you please provide us about new information related to the establishment of new foundation? But it should be noted that quite recently, the extension services, agricultural support, regional services have been closed. Instead of it, the government suggests to establish a new structure, which is very new, and the topic is very actual. So could you please tell us and update about the plans of development of such a structure?
Thank you for the question. Yes, you are true. We have established the Agriculture Development Fund, which basically has 3 centers in it, and one of the center is Agriculture Extension Services. I will give you a very brief information of history of agriculture extension in Armenia. As you know, Armenia has 10 regions, and starting from 1999, there were established 10 agriculture regional supporting centers, and they were separately acting, and they were having separate strategies and not having a common goal. But they were providing advisory, they were providing trainings to farmers or to beneficiaries. Now, starting from July from July this year, agriculture supporting centers are continued to work under the Agriculture Development Fund, and we created a strategy how we would like to act, and we have a new approaches. Basically, this is in a cooking process, and we are finalizing. We will have our press conference with regards of our new approaches and new ideas how we would like to see how we envision our agriculture extension service. So this will be very soon.
Okay, thank you. But anyway, are there any already, created financial model of working such structure? Because you know the problem, smallholder farmers cannot afford to pay for the services, and from the other side there is no capacity of extension services to provide these services. So it's like how this problem will be solved, and how the operations of this foundation of new structure will be successful in this case.
Thank you for the question. Yes, it's true that we have smallholder farms which are not or able to pay for advisory, but our approach is kind of different. Starting from 2018, we will have a portfolio of projects to make farmers to shift from not profitable agriculture to profitable agriculture. For example, we'll tell them with our representatives, we will try to propagate the information that we'll take, let's say, 10 farmers and we'll say, you will cultivate broccoli, another 10 farmers will cultivate physalis or different kind of non-traditional vegetables, and by that we'll be next to you, we'll provide you advisory with regards of cultivation, and in the end we'll provide you opportunity to export your products to foreign countries, mainly Federation of Russia. And this is our approach. Before that, we established a scheme that how farmers should pay for advisory. For example, we take the targeted groups. Let's say 10. The farmer who has 10 more hectares of agricultural land. For 1 hour, he pays, let's say, X unit of money, and from that 80% the Agriculture Development Fund will help them. So basically the farmers should understand that advisory is valuable and it costs more, and we are trying to engage them in this process by that way.
Okay, thank you very much. I turn to our stakeholders. They may have a lot of questions to panelists. So please raise your questions. Unless I will probe into the questions, so please be active. Yes? Okay.
Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation, especially the changes that is happening with regard to the extension services. I just would like, as a comment, to introduce that we did a lot of work with regard to this, especially related we did a research on cost, on effectiveness, and how it's well targeted at these extension services, and came up with a lot of recommendations that they are not efficient, they are not effective. This has been done in the frame of another EU project, monitoring the state budget and effectiveness to one was subsidies, another was related to extension services. And I'm happy to hear that you have already done some changes there and introduced a new system, new approach that will improve the extension services. But my question is related to one agricultural fund that you are going to set up. How are you going to fund this? Where the money will come in order to ensure that you have enough resources that will subsidize services for the farmers? Yes? If I'm not, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the farmers are going to pay only some percentage and the remaining will be covered by this fund. Am I right? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for the question. I will answer by 2 points. As you mentioned that the agriculture supporting centers were not efficient and effective, so that's why we make these changes. This is number one. And number two, our budget is allocated from the government, and but except that we are doing different projects that are supported by our donor agencies. So we are open to, of course, to work with the donor agencies to implement projects in agriculture as well. Thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question in relation to young people in the agriculture sector. I think we all know that keeping young people or engaging young people in the agriculture sector is an issue both in Georgia and Armenia, and it's a global issue. And your initiative to educate young people in the agriculture sector is really a very good one. But is the education only making sure that young people will be engaged in the agriculture sector? Therefore, my question is, what strategy, what else, apart of education, do you plan to engage young people in the agriculture sector?
Thank you for question. You are right that not. I'm young. I am involved in agriculture, and it's not because of only education. We are planning to. We are having problem now with regards of younger generation, and usually, if let's say we take the example of extension services, our average age of advisors are 60, 65. So this is, I think it's a problem. And except the education, we are trying to we increased already the wages of agriculture extension advisory workers. So this is another incentive that younger generation will be willingness to start to work in that sphere. This could be another incentive.
How government, particularly Ministry of Agriculture, is planning to engage the CSO organization, which is very important, particularly in public monitoring process. And since Oxfam and its Agricultural Alliance, the multi-stakeholder platform, is planning to collaborate with the Ministry of Agriculture, particularly on the policy monitoring way. How do you think the relevance of the public monitoring, and how do you see this collaboration? Because we can propose a lot of ways of collaboration. As I mentioned, one would be this policy monitoring, and we have developed a very solid monitoring framework focused on these four priority areas.
Thank you for the question. I will answer to your question very short. We are very open, our strategy is very open to cooperate with donors. And we think, we believe that if the project, agriculture project, if will be done together with ministry or with support or with any kind of information that we could provide, the results will be much efficient. So this is our policy. We are open. And for example, the last time we had a meeting with NPAR and UNIDO. So we already started to cooperate with them. Especially our extension service is having very much importance in the regional basis to show the exact beneficiaries, to show the local conditions, to work with the experts, etc.
Just to update you that Agricultural Alliance now is planning to re-sign the Memorandum of Understanding, which was signed in first time in 2013, and now to add these monitoring activities as a part of collaboration. So we are planning a meeting with Ministry of Agriculture and re-sign this, and which will give a flow for this monitoring of policy. Okay, can I ask our colleagues from FAO about the pilot insurance project, if I'm not mistaken, conducted within your project, or not? Okay, do you know about this pilot project of agriculture insurance?
This is just a design, and to be honest, today I don't have available data to share with you as it's related to this pilot project, but I'm going to focus more on the food security.
Yes.
So, as you know, you might know, last year, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations signed a country program framework with the government of Armenia, where food security was identified as a priority area. And within it, we are planning to strengthen legal and policy framework as related to the food security, and we are planning to work together with the number of stakeholders, including ministries and civil society organizations, to work on a national strategy on food security. Given the multi-sectoral phenomenon of food security problem in Armenia, we are going to work with the ministries of not only agriculture but also Ministry of Health, Social Affairs, and territorial administration. Also, I would like to introduce to you our new initiatives again, pilot projects that we are going to test different models on how we can increase food security by together with strengthening social security systems. So within the project, we are going to test two pilots. One is going to be related to the school feeding, to school feeding, and third one. So are we going to? Yeah, we are going to establish greenhouses within the schools that are going to provide school meals for the school children. And by this, we are going to test the sustainability of the school feeding project. We know that I'm not sure if you, in your previous day, you have discussed this issue of food security and the numbers, but it's really, situation is really alarming. And in order, as of today, most of these food security, school feeding projects are donor funded. And while thinking about the future, we are thinking that we need to have some sustainability in this project. By this, we think that this greenhouses project, which are linked to school, they can provide some certain sustainability, and the result of this pilot are going to be incorporated in the national strategy. The other area of our work that we are thinking about is another pilot which is related to the people who are living, socially vulnerable people, and we are going to do a pilot project in, we haven't decided the markets yet, but the scope of the project is going to be to work with the beneficiary families who are socially vulnerable, and they are getting these benefit packages from the government, and we are going to engage them in some agricultural activities, so they can be food is secure on one hand, and on another hand, they will improve their social economic condition. So this is another area of work that FAO is going to focus us related to food security.
Thank you very much for update. I would like just to suggest FAO to a little bit learn about Oxfam activities within the last 7 years and the huge work done on grassroots level, the establishment of greenhouse, social and business enterprises. We established about 24 greenhouses based on agricultural cooperatives in two regions, Valush and Varazur. So they operate as a social enterprise and part of the business enterprise. And also we recently, within our DRR project, established an inclusive greenhouse in Ijevan, which is model, and disabled children involved in this cultivation process. Yes, and apart from this project, 4 years project, did a lot of national work, advocacy work, and definitely open to share all these documentary records, researches, so many things, and I really trigger you to learn first and then not to duplicate the activities.
That is why from the very initial stage, when our project was launched, we have a meeting with all the stakeholders just to learn what they have done in order not to duplicate and probably find some areas of collaboration when we can have a joint efforts.
By the way, FAO is an associated member of Alliance, so you are welcome to come and learn more from our colleagues, different organizations. Thank you. And another questions?
My question is related, sorry, for the new strategy, yes, for our agricultural development strategy. And you know that it's already presented that Agricultural Alliance did a fantastic job in working with the Ministry of Agriculture to support and to be engaged and in the design and the development of this strategy. I would like to know how much FAO was engaged in it, and whether FAO has its power in order to push the adoption of the strategy, because As it's already mentioned, it's very crucial, especially smallholders, and there should be some strategic document that clearly defines the strategic areas and will, of course, be beneficial if we start the sooner the better. What's FAO's role and what's the power? Thank you.
As you know, FAO is providing technical assistance to the Ministry of Agriculture, and our power to push is very limited. If they don't want to adopt something, so we cannot push, but we can present, we can try to convince, we can present some evaluation works, but again, the final decision is with the Ministry of Agriculture, and there are informal conversations. Sometimes it's not, even though it's recognized the importance of the strategic document, but since it also includes some financial implications, that is why sometimes it's like they are delaying this.
Sorry, just to add that as Vadim already mentioned, FAO is also associated member of the Agriculture Alliance, and we have our advocacy strategy and plan for in order to influence the government for the adoption of this strategy. We'd like to know also, will you be joining, since you are also associated member of our Agriculture Alliance, will you be joining also in our joint advocacy work? Thank you.
Sure, we can try to find areas of collaboration, and I think our joint interaction is in that way. It will have much more impact on the Ministry of Agriculture. Let's try.
Yeah, we did a lot of campaign work on fostering this adoption, and we expect that FAO would also have a role in influencing and pushing government to adopt this. So you are also welcome in this campaign. So I would like also turn to our colleagues from Georgia, and it is up to you because there were a lot of hot issues mentioned of the extension services, the restructuring of the extension services in Armenia. If you have some comments on your model of extension services or current situation in the policy and the future steps of government on this way, how the government collaborates with STES, so we can just back to all these questions. If not, do any have other questions to our panelists before?
Yeah, I do have a question, and I think it may refer both to the Armenian side and the Georgian one. For me, it's very important to learn about the projects or about your strategy in reference to the youth engagements. Whether you consider them in your program, and I'm looking now at the intendant, Zara and Guba. Could you please elaborate a bit on that? Because we think that youth is really a strong and capable part of the population. We really need to consider that so as change agents. Thank you.
Let me start with Georgia and talking about youth, and then maybe our friends from the Ministry of Agriculture of Georgia can engage in the conversation. From time to time, this or that donor announces funding opportunity for a project with special engagement of youth. And from time to time, NGOs write proposals to bring youth closer to economic or social development. But the problem is that this is not a strongly stated priority for the donors and the government. So it's more an ad hoc approach rather than a system.
I can just briefly say, when I was speaking about the greenhouses project, which are to the schools, our objective is to engage youth, to engage school children in agricultural activities. Try to show the profitability of agriculture, try to orientate them to be involved in agriculture and to pursue their career in agriculture. So this this school feeding project in greenhouse is not just solving issue of food security and providing school meal, but also orientating these kids to see their future in agriculture sector.
Just a note to your answer, Zari, I would like to say that Oxfam has been working for several years with school children in terms of engaging them in cultivating alternative crops in their greenhouses as part of the climate change mitigation. So I think we can, adaptation, and we can really would be very glad to share that experience and work together in that area. So we'd be glad to continue this conversation later. Thank you.
Thank you very much for information.
Thank you for the question. As I said, we are cooperating with Ministry of Education, and we are planning to open agriculture colleges in different regions of Armenia and involve younger generation to study exactly agriculture and in different narrow fields like livestock production or greenhouses, etc. But let me bring you on a specific example how we are transferring the knowledge and experience to the younger generation. I will bring a specific example in the extension field. We have advisors that are 70 years old. They have a good knowledge and experience, not new, but they are fine professionals. So we are trying to make their visits together with young people who are involved in as advisor. So this will be a knowledge and experience transfer to younger generation, because we know that tomorrow they will not be able to provide us these services. Thank you.
I think that it would be useful, if we're talking about Georgia, to ask our friends from the Ministry of Agriculture to tell us what are the plans of the ministry regarding agriculture, and at least few bullet points to give us a better idea of how the government is going to support the engagement of youth in agricultural sector, and actually support and reduce out-migration of young people from the villages. Just a few days ago, a few months ago, the government of Georgia adopted a law on mountainous areas, which envisages special subsidies, special tax reliefs, etc., and special direction of government projects into the mountains. In that regards, I see that the government wants to motivate young people in the villages, in the mountainous villages, which are the most empty, to stay and to engage in agriculture and other income generation activities. However, you see very often our government, your government, other governments have very good initiatives, and there is little funding coming for those initiatives, and there is little interaction with civil society organizations that can play a perfect role of bridge between the government policies and the needs of population. So I hope that the government will remember that they have great allies, and these allies are CSOs, and CSOs will help them in implementing this law on the mountainous areas.
Thank you. So maybe somebody wants to raise a question. Okay, then I'm going to ask government about the most sexy question. How the government consider the gender agenda in all policies and strategies? Because you know, Oxfam is prioritized the gender mainstreaming through all its projects, and also provided a lot of mainstreaming and gender analysis, as I mentioned, from national level and provincial level. So does government plan, I don't know, any priority projects to promote the gender sensitive, for example, value chains, or any projects particularly addressed to gender issues on economical, social level? What are the plans of government regarding gender development in the country, particularly in the agriculture sector?
Thank you for the question. I will answer only with regards of agriculture field. We are not planning any specific project for gender sensitive issues, but for any project that we do or we plan, we are trying to engage gender sensitive issues in this project. For example, if we will have a Raspberry trading system establishment in different regions, we are trying to engage women there or making the women groups to represent or to act. Or if we are creating cooperatives, we are trying to engage cooperative members, the women to participate in that cooperative. So any project, we are having this on our minds.
Thank you very much. And the same question I would like to ask about the Georgian government. How government prioritize the gender issues in the agricultural sector through the project, specific projects, social projects?
აღნიშნული საკითხები გათვალისწინებულია სოფლმეურნეობის სტრატეგიაში, მაგრამ გარდა ამისა, მე ჩვენს კოლეგებს მინდა დავეთანხმო, რომ სოფლმეურნეობის სამინისტროს მხრიდან, თუ შეიძლება ასე ითქვას, ჩვენ გვაქვს სოფლმეურნეობის კოოპერირების ხელშეწყობის სააგენტო და უნდა გითხრათ, რომ გაჩნდა ძალიან ბევრი ქალთა კოოპერატივები და ერთ მაგალითს გეტყვით, თუნდაც არის ბორჯომი გამეთანხმებიან კოლეგები, ერთ-ერთი ისეთი რეგიონია, რომ სოფლმეურნეობის განვითარება ერთადერთი ძირითადი მიმართულება არის მეცხოველეობა, მაგრამ მცირე მიწიანია, მაგრამ აი აქ გვაქვს ჩვენ ქალთა კოოპერატივები, რომლებმაც გააშენეს კენკროვანი კულტურები და ძალიან წარმატებულად მუშაობენ ამასთან დაკავშირებით. ეს არის მაგალითი იმისა, რომ სხვა რეგიონებშიც ასევე ქალთა კოოპერატივებს შეუწყოთ ყველანაირად ხელი. ძირითადად აი ამ კუთხით მიდის ჩვენთან მუშაობა და გათვალისწინებულია სტრატეგიაშიც, რომ ხელი შეუწყოთ ამ ქალთა საქმიანობას, ყველა ჩართულობას ხელი.
For discussion, and I want to call the panelists one by one. So, Mr. Lasha Zivziladze, who is the head of the Rural Development Policy Coordination Division of the Ministry of Agriculture of Georgia. Okay, so he will hear soon. Mr. Mikhail Djibouti, the chairman of the Georgian Economists Association. Please. And Mr. Gormov Sesyan, the chairman of the Horizon Fund of Armenia. So, before we start, with your permission, I will set a certain background for the topic. Because in the frame of this project that Oxfam has been implementing since 2013, we have pledged particular efforts to find out the situation in this regard, with regard to barriers, with regard to problems, with regard to assessing the existing opportunities, and to set a certain orientation and recommendations how can we tackle this very important problem. These two countries are very much similar in terms of having the majority of the rural population, which is represented by the smallholder farmers. The smallholder farmers, let me briefly outline who do we mean in Georgian and Armenian context. Who are the smallholder farmers? There are some basic parameters to understand that. First is the level of income. The smallholder farmers, both in Armenia and Georgia, smallholder farming household average monthly income does not exceed $150 to $200. In both countries, this is the basic parameter. In terms of the possession of land area, the average possession of land area for smallholder farmers, the overwhelming majority of smallholder farmers, does not exceed 1 hectare for both countries. For Georgian specificity, for example, the smallholder farmer is considered the farmer who possesses the land within the range of 0.5 up to 5 hectares. So these two basic parameters that defines for us the smallholder farmers. Furthermore, for us it became quite evident that despite of the fact that both countries are pledging particular importance to agriculture as a sector on the one side, at the same time both countries are making, the governments are making big efforts to attract the investments, as well as to contribute from the state budget for the investments into the agricultural sector. Still, the access of the smallholders to these opportunities is very limited. For example, let me set a very particular example. We have conducted a research in Georgia to assess the preferential agro credit program. So for anybody who will be interested, please pay attention to this table where all these research publications are there, and so you can get more details on this. But I will give you a very interesting finding of this research is that within this scheme, the preferential agro credit scheme, which means that the state subsidizes the interest rates at a factor of 8%, meaning that, for example, if bank issues the loan with a 12% of interest rate, it means that the state pays 8% and the borrower pays 4%. Just very simply explaining what is the modality of the scheme. So under this scheme, during the course of last 4 years, 22,000 loans have been issued, out of which almost 17,000 loans are taken by the farmers. So if you assess the quantity of the loans, we see that the majority of the borrowers are the farmers. But if you assess from the angle of the sums, so in total, almost billion lari, meaning roughly $500 million have been credited. Only 10% is the share of the smallholders, and the rest of the agricultural, medium and large agricultural companies. So you see that this research showed that the share of the smallholders from the monetary terms is very limited, which reveals the fact that the excess is quite limited. The rest you can find in this research, so I encourage you, please get familiar with this. Another figure within this research, Basha, please, is that, just imagine, out of 22,000 loans which have been issued, only 39 are issued to the cooperatives out of 20,000, meaning 0.04%. And the cooperatives are mainly represented by the smallholders. So once again, this proves that the access of smallholders to this opportunity is quite limited. So, building up from this background, I just want to initiate a panel discussion. Our panelists from Georgia, Georgian speaking, so please take your headphones because the simultaneous translation is provided. And I want to start the discussion from the following, I think, quite an important question. So you witness the fact that the access of the smallholders is very limited to existing financing opportunities for their businesses. So maybe I would initiate from Ministry of Agriculture and simply asking, so what is your opinion? What are the obstacles and systemic gaps that somehow, in brackets, facilitates these limitations for the smallholders to get access to these numerous financing opportunities? Some ground rules before we will start is that I will pose a question and to the certain panelists. The panelist starts answering. I would encourage you to be quite brief and up to the point, but at the same time, other panelists also encouraged to follow up the answer from your particular angle, from your particular perspective. And let's have the interactive, rather than the press conference mode, let's have the interactive session. As for the audience, please just note your questions, and as soon as the panelists will work out the question posed by me, then you will be encouraged to engage. Okay? So, Lasha, please, why? Why the smallholders do not have enough access to these numerous opportunities? What is the enabling factor for them to have this limitation?
მოგესალმებით კიდევ ერთხელ. როგორც მადლობა ბატონო წარდგენისთვის. მინდა ვისაუბრო საქართველოში რა პრობლემები, რა ღონისძიებები ტარდება ამ მიმართულებით, ფინანსებზე ხელმისაწვდომობის მიმართულებით, სასოფლო სამეურნეო ფინანსებზე ხელმისაწვდომობის მიმართულებით. მინდა თავიდან დავიწყო 2012 წლიდან 2012 წელს საქართველოს მთავრობის პრიორიტეტი, როგორც ვიცით, გახდა სოფლის მეურნეობა და ძირითადად დიდი თანხები გამოიყო სოფლის მეურნეობის განვითარებისთვის 2012 წლიდან. 2013 წელს შეიქმნა შეღავათიანი აგროპროექტის პროგრამა, რომელსაც ახორციელებს სოფლის მეურნეობის განვითარების პროექტების მართვის სააგენტო. და შესაბამისად ამ წლების განმავლობაში ჩვენ მივიღეთ შეღავათიანი აგროპროექტის ფარგლებში დაახლოებით 850 მილიონი ლარის გაცემული თანხა და ხოლო დოლარებში კიდე დამატებით 250 მილიონი დოლარის. დაახლოებით დღესდღეობით ყავს 26,000 მსესხებელი, ანუ ძირითადად ვინც მიიღო სესხი და დაახლოებით 16,700 ბენეფიციარი, ანუ ზოგ ბენეფიციარს ორჯერ აქვს სესხი აღებული სასოფლო სამეურნეო შეღავათიანი აგროპროექტის ფარგლებში. რატომ დაიწყო ეს პროექტი? ანუ ძირითადი მიზანი რა თქმა უნდა იყო ფერმერთათვის კონკურენტუნარიანობის ამაღლება. და ამის ერთ-ერთი მთავარი მიმართულება, რა თქმა უნდა, რა ფერმერს აუმაღლდეს კონკურენტუნარიანობა, ფინანსებზე ხელმისაწვდომობაა, განსაკუთრებით მცირე ფერმერებს. ეს აღნიშნული არის როგორ მუშაობს შეღავათიანი აგროპროექტი. ანუ ფერმერი პოტენციური მსესხებელი მიდის ბანკში, ბანკი შესაბამისად განიხილავს მის პროექტს სასოფლო სამეურნეო მიმართულებით. ამის შედეგად თუ ბანკმა დააფინანსა, შესაბამისად სახელმწიფო ასუბსიდირებს საპროცენტო განაკვეთს. ზოგ შემთხვევაში ეს დასუბსიდირებული საპროცენტო განაკვეთი ფერმერის მიერ გადახდილი თანხა დაახლოებით საპროცენტო განაკვეთი 0%-მდე დადის. ანუ საერთოდ ძალიან დაბალია. ამის გარდა ფინანსებზე ხელმისაწვდომობის მიმართულებით კიდევ შეიქმნა გადამამუშავებელი საწარმოების თანადაფინანსების პროექტი, რომელიც მოიცავს არა მარტო სესხის მიცემას, არამედ გრანტის მისცემასაც პოტენციური ბენეფიციარისთვის. მაგალითად, პოტენციური ბენეფიციარს აქვს შესაძლებლობა, რომ მიიღოს სახელმწიფოსგან 40%-იანი გრანტი, 50%-იანი შეუძლია სესხით დააფინანსოს, ხოლო თანამონაწილეობა, ან კერძო სოფლების ამ შემთხვევაში მისი თანამონაწილეობა 10% უნდა იყოს. ეს მნიშვნელოვანი პროექტია და დღესდღეობით დაახლოებით გადამამუშავებელი მიმართულებით შექმნილია დღევანდელი მონაცემებით 35 გადამამუშავებელი, ხოლო დამატებით კიდევ შეიქმნა 3 შენახველი მეურნეობა. დამატებით მინდა აღნიშნო კიდევ, რომ სოფლის მეურნეობის პროექტების მართვის სააგენტო ახორციელებს აგროდაზღვევის პროგრამას. და ეს ფერმერთათვის რა თქმა უნდა დიდი мотивაციაა, რათა ჩაერთონ აგროდაზღვევის საქმეში და შესაბამისად მათი პროდუქცია დაზღვეული იქნას. როგორ მუშაობს აღნიშნული პროგრამა? ფერმერში შესაძლებლობა ეძლევა ჩაერთოს აღნიშნულ პროგრამაში და ჩართვის შემთხვევაში ის მიიღებს რისკ პრემიუმის სტატუსს დაახლოებით 70-80%-ს. ანუ 70-80%-ს ასუბსიდირებს სახელმწიფო, დანარჩენს ეს არის რისკ პრემიუმის და ხოლო დანარჩენს იხდის თვითონ კერძო ფერმერი, ამ შემთხვევაში მიიღებული ბენეფიციარი. დამატებით მინდა აღნიშნო კიდევ დანერგემომავლის პროექტი, რომელიც ძალიან მნიშვნელოვანია და მრავალწლოვანი კულტურებზეა გათვლილი. ესენი არის მაგალითად ვაშლი, თხილი, როგორც აღნიშნეთ სოფლის მეურნეობის წარმომადგენელმა კიდევ და დამატებით კენკრა, ალყამი და ასე შემდეგ. აღნიშნული დანერგემომავლის ფარგლებში დაახლოებით დღესდღეობით 3500-ზე მეტი ჰექტარია გაშენებული, მრავალწლოვანი ჰექტარი და შესაბამისად ბენეფიციარებმა მიიღეს სახელმწიფოსგან კონკრეტული დახმარება პროგრამის ფარგლებში, რაც ხელს შეუწყობს გააჩნდეთ мотивация, რათა მრავალწლოვანი კულტურები კიდევ მეტი გაზარდონ ქვეყანაში, გაზარდონდან და შესაბამისად წარმოებას გაიზარდოს ქვეყანაში და ფერმერთა კონკურენტუნარიანობა. დიდი მადლობა.
Thank you. Okay, so once again you have witnessed that these are quite interesting efforts that Ministry of Agriculture of Georgia, the state budget, contributes to facilitating access to finance for our rural producers. Once again, I want to reiterate that through certain programs, the access of smallholders is limited. And once again, I wanted to concentrate on the factors, which are limiting factors for them. So now, let's warm up a bit. And I would like to ask the Association of Economists. I just want to say we have two associations of economists in Georgia. Mr. Misha is calling himself the Association of the Old Economists. We have also Association of Young Economists. So, what would be your insight in this particular regard? Thank you.
მაგრამ იმ ახალგაზრდა ეკონომისტების ასაკმა უკვე გადაგვისწორ. 50 წელი ახალგაზრდა ეკონომისტებია. მე დიდი მადლობა დღევანდელი დისკუსიისათვის. მე მინდა ვთქვა, რომ საქართველოს პოლიტიკური გუნდი, რომელიც დღეს არის ხელისუფლებაში მართავს ქვეყანას, მას შეიძლება ბევრ რამეში მოდოს შარი, მაგრამ რაც შეეხება სოფლის მეურნეობასთან მიმართებაში, პოლიტიკური ნებლის თვალსაზრისით. მე მგონი, რომ ასეთი ერთსულოვნება, რომ სოფლის მეურნეობა უნდა იყოს პრიორიტეტი, ანუ პოლიტიკური ნებლის თვალსაზრისით, ფაქტურად პარლამენტის ყველა პოლიტიკური მიმართულება ამას საუბრობს. პრეზიდენტი ამას საუბრობს, რეგიონალური ხელისუფლება ამას საუბრობს, სამინისტროები ამის შესახებ საუბრობენ. საბიუჯეტო დაფინანსება უპრეცედენტოა ბოლო წლების. ხან მიაჭრეს მოაჭრეს ახლა ცოტა, მაგრამ მაინც პრინციპში ძალიან დიდი დაფინანსება. ისეთი დაფინანსება იყო, რომ მაგალითად ეს 4 წელი საერთოდ რო არ ემუშავა ფერმერებს საქართველოში, მარტო ამ ფულით ნაკიდი პური ეყოფოდა ყველას. შემდეგ არის ის პროგრამები, რაც ბატონო ლაშამ ჩამოთვალა ძალიან ბევრი, ძალიან საინტერესო. და ეხლა დგება საკითხი. მაგრამ შედეგი რა გვაქვს? აი ეგ არის თავარი, შედეგი რა გვაქვს? ამდენი ძალისხმევით და მართლაც მინდა უპრეცედენტო პლუსი თუ ამბობ. სამწუხაროდ ჩვენ შედეგი მთლიან შიდა პროდუქციაში ან ყველაზე ისეთი ინდიკატორით თუ ვიტყვით, მაჩვენებლებს გვაქვს ან 1%, 2%, ნუ 2% ნახევარი ზრდა. რატომ? მე ამ ხუთას არ ვიწყებ საქართველოში ამ პოლიტიკის რაღაცა დეტალების ანალიზის და შენიშვნებით ახალგაზრდებით. რატომ? ეს ფუნდამენტური კითხვა არა მარტო საქართველოში. ეს არის ფუნდამენტური კითხვა ყველა იმ ქვეყანაში, რომელიც გამოვიდა საბჭოთა კავშირიდან და გენეტიკურად არის ერთი და იგივე წარმოშობის ქვეყნები. საქართველოს მე დავუმატებ კიდევ. და ამ ქვეყნებში სოფელში იყო კოლმეურნეობები და საბჭოთა მეურნეობები და თუ რაიმე დაფინანსებაზეა საუბარი, იმდენი ფული, რასაც საბჭოთა კავშირის დროს იხარჯებოდა სოფლის მეურნეობაზე, ეს ალბათ შეუძლებელია ვინმე წარმოიდგინოს, რომ ოდესმე მოხდება. შემდეგი ნაბიჯი დაიშალა ეს ყველაფერი და ჩვენ მივიღეთ დაქუცმაცებული წვრილი მეურნეობები. საქართველოში მისი რაოდენობა სხვადასხვა მონაცემებით კონტექსტის მიხედვით 600,000-დან 700,000-მდე. 600,000-დან 700,000-მდე წვრილი გლეხური მეურნეობები. ეხლა გარდამავალი ტრანსფორმაციის პერიოდი გრძელდება, რა გვინდა ჩვენ რომ მივიღოთ? ჩვენ გვინდა მივიღოთ კაპიტალიზმი. ეხლა გზა ამ წვრილი გლეხური მეურნეობიდან კაპიტალიზმამდე. აი ეს არის გადასაწყვეტი ისე, რომ კაპიტალიზმის მთავარი მექანიზმებით რომ კარგად მოგეხსენებათ, მათ შორის ერთ-ერთი არის კონკურენცია, ეს არის დაუნდობელი რა. და ამ კონკურენციაში ეს წვრილი გლეხური მეურნეობები გადარჩება თუ არ გადარჩება? მდგომარეობა როგორია? მე განზოგადებას ვახდე. მდგომარეობა ისეთია, რომ ძირითადად ეს წვრილი გლეხური მეურნეობები მიდიან არა კაპიტალიზმისაკენ, დღევანდელი მდგომარეობები, არამედ ფეოდალიზმისაკენ. რეფორმები სოფლის მეურნეობაში არსად არ დასრულებულა ზოგიერთ ქვეყანაში ხოლსაბჭოთა სივრცეში არც დაწყებულა. მეურნეობები ეს არ დასრულებულა. იყო პირველი მთავარი მისი კომპონენტი შემადგენელი, რომ დაიწყო მიწის რეფორმა, მიწის პრივატიზება და ურთიერთობები, სამეურნეო ურთიერთობები სადღაც არ გაეჭირა. დღეს ეხლა ჩვენი სოფელი არის პირველ დაწყებით სამეურნეო კავშირებსა და სადღაც ფეოდალიზმს შორის. აი ეგ არის მოცემულობა. ეხლა ჩვენ რა კუთხით ვიხილავთ ამ მეურნეობებს? ვიხილავთ სასურსათო უსაფრთხოების კუთხით. კეთილი, კალბატონმა კეთილი დღეს კარგი სიტყვა თქვა, ერთი სისტემურობა. სისტემურობის პრობლემა ახლავს და გუშინ აქ ბატონი იხილავდა ოქსფამის საქმიანობას. რა თქმა უნდა, ამ დეტალებში, ამ სისტემურობას ვინ მოიცავს? ეხლა ჩვენ როგორ ვყურებთ სასურსათო უსაფრთხოების კუთხით წვრილ გლეხურ მეურნეობას. რა ადგილი უჭირავს მას 4 პილარში? წარმოების ადგილი ერთი თითქოს, რომ პროდუქტი უნდა შექმნას, რომ უზრუნველყოს სოფლის მეურნეობის პროდუქტი. მაგრამ მარტო ეს არის? არა, მას უჭირავს მეორე ადგილი, ხელმისაწვდომობის თვალსაზრისით. ხელმისაწვდომობის თვალსაზრისით რატომ? მათ თვითონ აწარმოებს რამდენს ნატურალური მეურნეობა ერთი, თუ მას შეუძლია უკვე ნუტრიციის თვალსაზრისით სრულფასოვანი კვებისათვის მისი პროდუქტი გაყიდოს.
ჩვენის მეპარქვით ჩვენ ახლა ესეთ ფართო სპექტრში განხილვაზე არ ვახსოვდი, მე მინდა გითხოთ რა განსაზღვრავს იმას, რომ ვერ ხდება დღეს ძირითადში მცირე გლეხობა ამ დაფინანსების საშუალებებს. რა ფაქტორები მიგაჩნია თქვენ და მე მინდა ბატონ გორსთან გადავიდე უკვე სომხეთის კონტექსტში როგორ არის ეს ყველაფერი.
მე კიდევ გავიხარებ
განცეთ პასუხი და მე
გავიხარებ ვიფიქრე ყველაფერს ვიტყვი მეთქი, მაგრამ საქმე იმაშია, რომ დღეს ჩვენ გვაქვს, მე მაშინ ძალიან თეზისურად პასუხობ, ჩვენ გვაქვს სოფელში ფუნდამენტური პრობლემები მოუგვარებელი. ფუნდამენტური პრობლემები მოუგვარებელი. რა არის ეს? პირველი, თვითმმართველობის პრობლემა მოუგვარებელი, თვითმმართველობის პოლიტიკური თვითმმართველობის პრობლემა მოუგვარებელი, პოლიტიკური თვითმმართველობის მოუგვარებლობა ართულებს სამეურნეობა თვითმმართველობის ჩამოყალიბებას, ანუ კოოპერატივის ჩამოყალიბებას. ჩვენ გვაქვს ფუნდამენტური საკითხი, მიწის საკითხი მოუგვარებელი, როგორც საკანონმდებლო დონეზე, ასევე მიწის ბაზრის თვალსაზრისით. აქ ყველაზე ცუდი მომენტი არის ის, რომ მიწის ბაზარზე ჩვენთან სახელმწიფო გამოდის როგორც მიწის გამყიდველი და ამავე დროს როგორც დემპინგური მიწის გამყიდველი, შესაბამისად მიწის ბაზარი ჩვენთან არის დამახინჯებული და მიწის ბაზარი აძლევს ეკონომიკას არასწორ ინფორმაციას. მიწის ბაზრის დამახინჯება ფუნდამენტური საკითხი, სამართლებრივი მოუწესრიგებლობა ჩვენთან არ არის სრულფასოვანი მიწის კანონმდებლობა, მიწის კოდექსის სახით და გვაქვს თეთრი ლაქები, არ იძლევა იმის საშუალებას, რომ ის გლეხური მეურნეობაც კი, რომელსაც უნდა სასაკულო პროდუქციის წარმოება, მე არაფერს არ ვამბობ თავის გადარჩენაზე, ვერ ურთიერთობს საბანკო სექტორთან. და ჩვენ გვაქვს სწორედ ასეთი ფუნდამენტური საკითხის გამო საკრედიტო ურთიერთობები მიწის დამუშავებასთან დაკავშირებით, თუმცა ვიტყვი, თუ განვასხვავებთ სოფელში არ არის მოსახლეობას, რომელსაც არ გქონდეს სამომრავლებლო კრედიტი. მაგრამ სოფელში მიწის თვალსაზრისით რო არ იყოს კრედიტი თუ არა სახელმწიფო დახმარება, ასეთი არის ძალიან მცირე. მე ასე გავჩერდებოდი ბატონო ლევან აქ და ვიტყოდი, ეს არის ფუნდამენტური საკითხების მოუგვარებლობა და ეს არის ჩვენთან ტრანსფორმაციის და რეფორმების ჩატარების დროს ქვეყანაში კაპიტალიზმის ნაცვლად ფეოდალიზმის მიღება, როდესაც ფერმერები და მიწას ფლობს ვიღაცა ერევანში და თბილისში და ამუშავებს ვიღაცა სოფელში. როდესაც უნდა გქონდეს მას ადგილზე და ამუშავდეს იქ.
Still a very broad analysis. Although I want somehow to squeeze it down with your permission and ask more. So, what are the challenges in the Armenian context? And why, still, what are the gaps and the barriers?
Okay, first of all, a few remarks about subsidized loans, because the thing is that people are speaking about access to finance in general, especially for the smallholder farmers. We need to not only to speak about subsidized loans, because as I also understand from Georgian example, only 22,000 loans, but if we are speaking about smallholders, they are in Armenia about 300,000. So only less than 10% or 5% can get subsidized loans from the government. So if we are speaking about access to finance in general, we need to speak about available products in the commercial market, in the banks, in the credit organizations, and the microfinancial institutions. So here we need to speak about how current CSOs can ensure that the formal, let's say, lenders are lending good loans that are affordable and accessible for the farmers. This is just remarkable.
Apart from this, also the sensitivity of the banking sector and the reduction of the risks.
Yes.
The smallholders are not so much attractive for the banking sector because they represent the high risk. Can we expand on that?
It's another problem after the economic crisis since like 2008. The thing is that we have in Armenian context, we have a very high level of indebtedness among smallholder farmers, so it's another issue that even if there will be accessible finance now, a lot of smallholder farmers have very bad credit history and they will not be able to apply to the formal banking sector for these new affordable credits.
So, as I'm starting to understand systemically, the problem is that one lays into the very fundamental gaps in relation to the land tenure, land registration, provision of the collateral to the bank, convincing collateral on the one side. Another side, the readiness of the banks to offer the affordable product, right? As well as the limited extent of the state funds still to cover larger amount, larger quantity of the small holdings. What else?
Another issue, in my opinion, is lack of knowledge. I will fully, I think my colleagues will agree that there is really part of population that are financially illiterate. So another issue, if we are speaking about experience, new practices, new technologies, we also need to speak about financial education of the farmers.
ბატონაშას მივცეთ სიტყვა.
დაგეთანხმებით. განათლებასთან დაკავშირებით განათლება ძალიან დიდი მნიშვნელობა აქვს და განსაკუთრებით ფინანსურ მიმართულების განათლებას და შესაბამისად განათლების დონე რომ ფერმერებს შორის დაბალია და განოცდილება დაბალია, ბანკიც ასე ვთქვათ ყოფნობს გასცეს თუ არა სესტრის მასზე. ანუ ბანკი არა მარტო ყურებს აგრეთვე იმ მიმართულებით თუ რამდენად განათლება აქვს მიღებული ამათო ფერმერს და განოცდილება აქვს კონკრეტული პროდუქციის წარმოების მიმართულებით. ბატონო შევხვდით.
კოლეგებს დავეთანხმები, იმიტომ რომ აბსოლუტურად ცოდნის საკითხი ეს არის ასე ვქლავ ფუნდამენტური საკითხი და შეიძლება ვთქვა რომ საბაზრო კანონებით სოფელში საკრედიტო ურთიერთობები არავითარ შემთხვევაში ვერ მიიღებს სრულფასოვან სახეს, თუ არ ჩამოყალიბდა სრულფასოვანი მიწის ბაზარი, ეს ერთი და მეორე ეს არის თუ მეურნეობამ თვითონ არ შეიძლიეს სასაქონლო ხასიათი. რატომ დაიღოს დღეს გლეხმა კრედიტი და არის თუ არა პანაცია კრედიტის აღება, ისიც რომიც იყოს ფული. ესეც პრობლემაა, იმიტომ რომ თუ არ არსებობს მეორე ფუნდამენტური საკითხი სადაზღვევო სისტემა, რომელიც დააზღვევს მას რისკებიდან, ჩვენ გვაქვს შემთხვევები, როდესაც იღებს კრედიტს, შემდეგ მოვა სვეტყვა, დაზღვეული არ არის და კაცი უბედურდება. სამი მდგომარეობა არსებობს, ერთი, როდესაც გაქვს ვალი, ყველაზე უბედური შემთხვევა, მეორე, როდესაც არ გაქვს ვალი და მესამე გაქვს ფული. ჩვენ გლეხების ბევრი შემთხვევა ამ დახმარებების შედეგად გადავიყვანეთ მდგომარეობიდან, როდესაც არ ჰქონდათ ვალი, მდგომარეობაში, როდესაც გაუჩნდათ ვალი. ანუ გვარი მდგომარეობაში. ამიტომ უნდა იყოს სადაზღვევო სისტემა, ეს ერთი და კიდევ ერთი მომენტი. რაც შეეხება ამ სასაქონლო მიმართულებას, მე ვფიქრობ, ხელისუფლებათა პოლიტიკა მე მინდა ვთქვა, რომ საქართველოში მართლაც გარღვევა მოხდა მენტალობის და პროგრამების დონეზე და დოკუმენტების დონეზე. ორი პროგრამაა მიღებული, ერთი სოფლის მეურნეობის განვითარების და მეორე სოფლის განვითარების. ეს ორი მნიშვნელოვანი სხვადასხვა რამ არის და ჩვენ მეცნიერებმა ამას შევწირეთ 20 წელი რომ სოფლის პროდუქცია შეიძლება აწარმოო ისე რომ გლეხი არ გავდეს, ხოლო სოფელი უნდა განავითარო, შეიძლება განავითარო ისე რომ სოფელი არ აწარმოებდეს სოფლის პროდუქციას. თუმცა არის მნიშვნელოვანი რომ მას უნდა გქონდეს სასაქონლო მიმართულება. სასაქონლო მიმართულება სჭირდება ცოდნა, სჭირდება ბაზარი, ინფრასტრუქტურა, ხელმისაწვდომობა და ასე შემდეგ. ჩვენ გვაქვს პრობლემა იმ დანაკარგების სოფლის მეურნეობის პროდუქციის იმ პროდუქციის გამოყენების, რომელსაც წარმოება არ სჭირდება, უბრალოდ არსებობს და იკარგება. შემგროვებითი, ანუ პირველი ფორმა ადამიანმა, როდესაც დაიწყო შემგროვება, ჩვენ გვაქვს შემგროვებითი სოფლის მეურნეობის სასაქონლო ფორმაში გადაყვანის პრობლემა.
Thank you. Okay, so which is a very fundamental factor that has been also mentioned. Is it one-sided? Are we talking only about farmers, or one second? Or is there also space of the gap of knowledge within banks in their relationship to the sector? And generally speaking, we see the preferential agro credit system has created a very big motivation, subsidizing interest rates, so reducing the risk of banks. But still, it is not enough motivating factor for the banks to be more open towards the agriculture. So, how would you look? What kind of additional incentives we should think about, or additional schemes or approaches we should think about to allow that these relationships are relevantly developed? Go.
I'm not sure that we can speak about lack of knowledge among banks about the sector. The other thing is that, for example, in the case of Armenia, as you know, we have a mega regulator, central bank, that have requirements on loan loss provisioning, etc., and backup and go the loans. So the banks are in very difficult position with lending to agricultural sector because of lack of backup, so guarantees or mortgages. So we can see possible solutions here with the regulator, with the mega regulator, how to improve the situation, because while in the working group, while preparing this strategic document, we have our recommendations how can financial sources in commercial banks become more affordable for the farmers. Regarding other things, yes, if there will be mechanism to reduce the risk, because frankly speaking, subsidizing of the loan interest is not a direct mechanism of reducing the risk for the bank, because the main risk not is the interest, and it doesn't make sense who pay the interest, the farmer or government, let's say, but the main risk is high risk of agriculture itself, and the main risk is in the principal part of the loan, not in the interest part.
Thank you. So I want to use this opportunity. We are slightly drifting to the Q&A session, so you are very much encouraged. Please.
Very short answer to your question. Decreasing the risk of banks. So what we did, what we are going to do, we designed a special project that is subsidizing the agriculture development loans. And the farmer gets farmer pays 4% annual interest loan. Yeah, it's not the decrease of the risk, but we have used another mechanism with our advisory services or extension services. We are saying to farmer, if you want to get a loan, you should first come to the advisory services, got trained in a got trained in a narrow specification field, what you want to do, if you want to grow barley or berries or nothing, and if you, in the end of the training, will present your ideas, your calculations, and if you will show how you are going to act, how you are going to spend this money, we will give you a certificate, and this will be a precondition to get to submit a subsidized loan. This is about the financial. And the second, we are subsidizing the loans for getting new technologies for Armenia, like drip irrigation, anti-hail nets, etc. So by this, we are decreasing the risk again. Because if the farmer uses drip irrigation rather than the traditional irrigation way, he's less risky. If he or she uses the anti-hail nets, he or she is less risky. So this is our approach, how to decrease the risk.
Thank you very much for this insight, because it draws to a certain conclusion, once again, that, as Gor has mentioned, so subsidizing interest rate is not by default reduces the risks for the bank. The main risks are laying in the production itself. So more emphasis given to the reducing the production-related risks can contribute more immensely and efficiently for reducing the risks for the banks. Can I conclude that this is more or less something that we can agree upon?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, okay. So, one question from your side, then Margarita, if I may. Okay, okay. Good, please.
Working?
Short and up to the point, we have limited time and a lot of questions, fortunately.
Thanks. Thank you very much for the discussion. I would like to mainly concentrate on the points that Levan makes. So from 20,000 loans, only 0.4%, 0.04% is for cooperatives, right? So the question here, I would like to discuss a case. So if there is a new established cooperative with no collateral, with no financial history, so the government is a bit unsure whether to finance or not, and there is no any equity or any other shareholder, so there is no any money. I'm interested very much whether Georgian government is doing anything on that, like subsidizing, or maybe this is the point which makes only 0.04%.
Very short answer to your quite a crucial question with regard to cooperatives. The situation is simple. Firstly, this is not government; these are banks. The government starts subsidizing as soon as banks approve the loan and disperse it. That is one thing. The banks are always abstaining to credit startups. So in case of cooperatives, is a problem. Secondly, the credit history of the individual cooperative members. The bank is assessing this. Even if one member has got the doubtful credit history, the bank stops and rejects the proposition for the loan. This is another problem.
Well, mainly I'm speaking the new ones which have no any doubt history there, and I'm speaking about the governmental part, subsidies, not about the banks.
Well, the government is reliant within the scheme of the banks.
Yeah.
So as soon as the banks approve the business proposition, this is a green light for the so government does not take the loan appraisal function. It's a function of the banks. So as soon as the bank is taking risk to disperse, then the government enters. But for the cooperative, these are two basic hindering factors. And thirdly, what we have observed, for the banks, dealing with cooperatives is a new fruit. I mean, they have no idea what is cooperative. You know, despite of the fact that the cooperative represents the corporate responsibility for the loan reimbursement, still the banks do not reflect appropriately for the moment. This is the answer. So, Margarita, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question will be very, brief. Short. We all identify and understood that agriculture is a very risky area. But my question relates to Lasha's, reply on 70% of covering for reimbursement of the of smallholders, in case there is agricultural shock, whether short-term damage, yes, of the production. I would like to, the question is whether, is there any insurance system? How do you have 70%? Is it universal for everybody, or it's depending on ad hoc basis, on specific cases? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. I said that in agri-insurance program, approximately 70 to 80% are subsidized, of the risk premium are subsidized by the government. From the risk premium, I highlighted this point. So it depends on the product. By product, it's different percentage. A different percentage. So government subsidized from different product. For example, for the wheat, it's different percent. For the peach, it's different, and for the apple, it's different. So it's not universal, 70%. So there are differentiation between percentage of the risk premium, which government is subsidized this kind of agriculture products. Thanks.
Okay. Another question, please.
პანელი ემსახურება გაბინეტების გამოსასწორების ასეთ გარშემო დისკუსიას, მემექნებოდა კითხვა, შედეგების შემოსავლის მიმართულებით. უბრალოდ გავიმეორებ ბატონი ლაშას ასეთ მიერ გაჟღერებულ ინფორმაციას და თუ ცდები შეიძლება რომ შემისწოროთ, აგრეთვე პროგრამა სულ რაღაც 4 წელია ხომ ფუნქციონირებს და დაინერგა აქტიურად მიმდინარეობს. და თქვენ თქვით რომ დაახლოებით 850 მილიონი ლარის ასე ვთქვათ გაცემა მოხდა და რაც შეეხება მოსახლეებს ამათი რაოდენობა 30,000 შეადგენს. 4 წლის თავზე მაინტერესებს თუ მოხდა აღნიშნული პროგრამის შედეგების ასე ვთქვათ შეფასება და კონკრეტული კითხვები მაქვს აღნიშნული მიმართულებით, რამდენად მიზნობრივად მოხდა დაგუპრექტის პროგრამის ფარგლებში გაცემული სპეციფიკების გამოყენება, რა პროდუქციის განვითარებაზე იყო ერთად მიმართული და შედეგობრივად რამდენად იყო აღნიშნული პროგრამის განხორციელება. თქვენი პასუხის გაცემის დროს შეიძლება რომ ციფრებზე გავაკეთოთ რეფერენდუმი.
Okay, so before Lasha answers, once again very short reiteration. This is the assessment of the preferential agro-credit schemes that Oxfam has conducted within the frame of this particular project. So if you're interested on the details, please refer to this particular research. And for the moment, this is the newest. This is the newest that covers the entire 4 years period of the implementation of this program. Asha, please.
დიდი მადლობა შეკითხვისთვის. დაახლოებით მე-5 წელია უკვე არსებობს პროგრამა 850 მილიონი ლარი და პლუს დამატებით 250 მილიონი დოლარი გაიცა. ხოლო რაც შეეხება რამდენად მოხდა, ბატონო ლევან აღწერა რომ შეფასება მოხდა ოქსფამის მიერ კონკრეტული პროექტის ფარგლებში. რაც შეეხება თვითონ სამინისტროს შეფასებას და შიდა ანუ ასე ვთქვათ განსახილველ საკითხებს, თვითონ პროექტების მართვის სააგენტო აკეთებს ყოველ ასე პერმანენტულად აკეთებს მის შეფასებას, რომელი პროექტი უფრო მნიშვნელოვანია, რომელ პროექტს აქვს რაღაც განსაკუთრებული ხარჯები, რათა ეს ხარჯები გამოსწორებული იქნას. იგივე საკანონმდებლო ლოცვების მიმართულებით ხშირად ხდება შეფასება და ამ მიმართულებით როგორ უფრო უნდა გაუმჯობესდეს რათა მივახციოთ უფრო მდგრად ასე ვთქვათ ფინანსებზე ხელმისაწვდომობას. ეს მიმდინარეობს პროექტების მართვის სააგენტოს მიერ და დახვეწა მიმდინარეობს პროექტის დაწყებიდან. ანუ თავდაპირველად რა თქმა უნდა ბევრი პრობლემები იყო, შემდეგ უფრო დაიხვეწა ეს საკითხები, უფრო კარგად გადაიჭრა და შესაბამისად ვითარდება პერმანენტულად. მადლობა.
Just additional details. For example, we were interested in some macroeconomic figures, of course. 70% increase in wine exports. It is directly attributable to the loans facilitated by this program. That's one of the findings of this particular research. As well as we try to make some economic analysis, which is not easy for the moment because agriculture is not a short-term undertaking. It's a longer term, and still the assessment is ahead. So, Katie, please.
My question is on agriculture, which is really very great, but we still observe some shortfalls. When we talk to our cooperative beneficiaries, some of them they are using, some of them not, because they say that not all risks that they are facing are covered by this state-provided insurance. So these are the issues that farmers are saying. On the other hand, we have heard from Gore today that for banks subsidizing interest rates does not really mean reducing the risks. I just thought, I was loudly thinking, will agriculture insurance, can agriculture insurance provide some more security for banks to expand their portfolio on agriculture lending? So this part of my question is for Gore, and part of my question is to Lasha. So the question to Lasha specifically is that whether the government of Georgia plans to improve the scheme that they have already just introduced, or they are thinking to create like more conducive atmosphere for banks, banking sector to have like more bigger portfolio on agricultural loans.
Okay, so.
Okay, first of all, this is something I will try to answer. To reduce the risks for banks, we cannot speak only about agricultural insurance. We can speak about absence, I don't know about Georgia, but we can speak about absence of any kind of insurance for financial risks in Armenia. We have very few products in the market that are provided by insurance companies in Armenia that covers financial risks for lenders or whatever. So, particularly agricultural insurance can be a tool that will reduce the risks and reduce the interest rate of the lenders. But again, we need to speak about the coverage. How much people will be covered by this insurance? If it will be 20, 30, 40% of all smallholders, then it can work. But if we are speaking about small pilots, I think it's useless. And the thing is that in Armenia insurance sector, I know that we had a session yesterday about insurance, but mainly it is focused now on compulsory services like insurance for cars, for damage and some other things. So maybe it can work if it will be some kind of compulsory insurance for some agricultural risk, at least for like hail or drought or whatever, what is the most risky for the farmers. And then again we will come to the question about the coverage. What percentage of population will be covered by this issue?
მადლობა კეთი შეკითხვისთვის. რაც შეეხება პრობლემებს, რა თქმა უნდა, პრობლემები არის სადაზღვო მიმართულებით და სადაზღვო მიმართულებაში როგორც ვიცით, ერთ-ერთი მაგალითი შეგვიძლია მოვიყვანოთ წლის დასაწყისში სიტყვა იყო სხვადასხვა რეგიონში საქართველოში და შესაბამისად დაისება გამოსვლოვანი პროდუქტი. ამის შემდეგ ფერმერებმა მოითხოვეს სახელმწიფო ახალ დასავლურ ფერმერებს და ფერმერებმა მოითხოვეს და სახელმწიფოსგან დაისვია რატო გადაეხადა ტრაქტორები არაინაზღაურებია ის თანხა რომელიც მიადგა ზარალი. შესაბამისად, როდესაც არსებობს აგროდასვლა, ფერმერს უნდა გქონდეს მოტივაცია, რომ წავიდეს და დაასვიოს და არ უნდა იყოს ამიმართულებით, რომ როდესაც სიტყვა მოვა სხვადასხვა რეგიონში, სახელმწიფოსთან მივიდეს და მოთხოვოს მას თანხა. ეგ ერთ-ერთი მნიშვნელოვანი ალბათ ცნობიერების ამაღლებასთან არის საქმე, ცნობიერების პრობლემასთან. რომ მათმა არ დაასვიეს, როდესაც არსებობს ეს კონკრეტული პროგრამა ფერმერებისთვის შეიქმნა და ემსახურება მათი კონკურენტუნარიანობის ამაღლებას და შესაბამისად ალბათ ცნობიერებასთან გვაქვს ამაღლებასთან გვაქვს პრობლემასთან გვაქვს საქმე. დამატებით ბატონი ნოდარი გასცემს კიდე
ბატონი შეიძლება პეტროშ ლავარაკო. უკაცრავად დაზღვევასთან დაკავშირებით მინდა გითხრათ, რომ ჩვენთვის სიახლეა ქალბატონ ქეთის მინდა დავეთანხმო, ძალიან ბევრი ხარვეზებია, მინდა დაგეთანხმოთ და იმის ნაცვლად, რომ გაიზარდოს და მოცულობა, რაზეც ჩვენი კოლეგა საუბრობდა, პირიქით ამ ბოლო პერიოდში ეს პირიქით ხდება. გასულ წელს თუ მოხდა სეტყვა, მოვიდა სეტყვა და ბევრი რეგიონი დაისეტყვა, აი მაგალითს გეჭირთ და ამით ყველაფერს ნათელი მოეფინება. გასულ წელს დაისეტყვა შიდა ქართლში ხეხილის ბაღი. მაგრამ დაზღვევაში ჩადებული იყო კონკრეტულად, რომ იმ შემთხვევაში გადაიხდიდა გარკვეულ თანხებს, თუ ნაყოფი იქნებოდა 0,8 სანტიმეტრი და ზევი. მოვიდა სეტყვა იმ პერიოდში, როდესაც იყო 0,6, 0,7 მეათედი და ფაქტიურად დაზღვევა არ მოხდა. ესე იგი, გაგრძელდა ეს და წელს მოხდა ისეთნაირად, რომ 26 აპრილს მოხდა წაყინვები და დაიღუპა მოსავალი, იგივე შიდა ქართლში, 2 წელი ზედიზედ ასეთი რამ ხდება. დაზღვევაში არ იყო ჩადებული ეს წაყინვები და ბუნებრივია, ვისაც ერთეულებს, მაგრამ მაინც ვისაც ჰქონდა დაზღვეული, ბუნებრივია, მათაც არანაირი ეს ანაზღაურება არ მოუხდა. ამიტომ ძალიან მკაცრად არის და დასმული საკითხი და ამ შემთხვევაში სოფლის სამინისტრო აქტიურად მუშაობს, რომ ეს ასე ვთქვათ, პირობები შეიცვალოს და იყოს რაღაც ფიქსირებული გადასახადი დაუშვათ აი იმ პერიოდამდე, იმიტომ რომ ამ შემთხვევაში უკვე ფერმერებს გაწეული აქვთ ხარჯები, გარკვეული ხარჯები და ფაქტობრივად კოტრდებიან და არანაირი შემოსავალი აღარ ექნება. და აი ამ თემაზე მიმდინარეობს მუშაობა მინდა გითხრათ. Thank you very much. You all see that this is a very large topic. This cannot be fit into 1 hour discussion. We have conducted numerous similar discussions on the country level in the frame of this project, in the frame of cooperative development project. I want to encourage the government representatives who are here, as well as donor representatives who are here, to pledge a certain effort to continue such discussions and to come up to very concrete solutions. The fortunate case for Georgia and Armenia is that in many cases we do not need to discover something. Because the only thing we need is to get familiar with the advanced experience and to find the opportunity to apply these experiences with our specificities. So the only need is to be ready for that, to be sensitive enough for that and to address this issue relevantly. So thank you very much indeed to the panelists for their very instrumental insights. Thank you very much for the audience, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors with regard to this very crucial issue. Once again, please refer to this research pieces, and maybe see you around. All the best.
Thank you everyone for an interesting discussion and for our panelists also.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. thank you for this opportunity to talk about the efforts of FSM projects in Georgia and Armenia on gender mainstreaming in food security and nutrition. As we heard yesterday and today from other presentations, from discussions of our colleagues, lots of work was done on policy advocacy and working with the governments of both countries on on policy development and including gender mainstreaming in that. Today during our session we'll try to go through both through activities of both countries through all 4 pillars and find out what factors influence on food security and nutrition in terms of gender mainstreaming. As for food availability, which all of us know that there is sufficient quantities of food on the market, the big role in this process belongs to women and women involvement. And the studies show that more than half of small producers in Georgia, for example, I will be talking about statistics of Georgia, are women. So that means that if we are talking about the development of small farmers and small producers, we should definitely focus our work on women empowerment, women economic empowerment, building their capacity, and creating access for them to financial and other resources to support this small farming development. Agro-capacity building of rural population, that's also an issue, and the practices, including the current project, shows that in most cases, donor organizations, local and international NGOs are organizing some efforts, some activities, interventions aiming to capacity building of the rural women involved in agriculture, but in most cases there are some obstacles that prevent some obstacles that women can get access to trainings, to some materials, information on new technologies, on innovations, and that could support their farm development. And finally, that I will not go through all the points on the slides. You can see them during the presentation. I will just highlight the key issues. And one of the key issues in terms of availability is that women, there's a limited women presence in decision making in agriculture, particularly in agriculture. When we talk about policymakers, we can say that in Georgia we have just 11% of women participating in policy making in the Parliament of Georgia. As for the ministries, it varies from sector to sector, but as for women on key positions where decisions are made regarding agriculture and agriculture policy implementation, majority still are men, and talking about the second pillar, which is the access, food access, we differentiate physical access and economic access, and evaluating the current situation in the country, we can say that physical access becomes less and less problematic. So I would still highlight the high mountainous regions in Georgia, where there are still some challenges in terms of physical access to markets. But as for economic access, I would say that there is still a problem. Having the rural population with very limited income and having the quite high level of dependency on, I would say that dependency on Okay, and having the big proportion of income spent on food in Georgia, I would say that lack of enough finances for the household creates a kind of limited access to food. Also, as for economic access, we should highlight also women's vulnerability in terms of limited income that women have in the country. I mean, rural women mostly, because they are doing lots of work, but majority of this work is unpaid, and they don't have the income for that, financial income to buy food for their families. As for food utilization, talking about utilization, we still have some challenges here, some numbers that needs your attention and needs attention of the government, needs attention of NGOs and donor institutions to be focused. One of the key challenges, I would say, is that when during the policy discussions or policy debates, we still lack the linkages between the human health and nutrition problems. So we don't discuss existing health situation in relation with nutrition and in relation with the food utilization problems. For example, just some numbers for to demonstrate this. 54% of population in Georgia is considered overweight, and 4% of diabetic diseases are linked with death and mortality, and also 34%. We have 34% population who are considered as a population with inadequate consumption of vitamin A and iron-rich products. All these numbers, again, I would highlight that and ask the attention of government, of donor institutions in their work in policy making, policy implementation, and implementing assistance programs from donors side, paying attention on these numbers. As for food stability, again, we see that since Georgia stays as the country with high dependency on imported food, and that means that the local production, level of local production is very low, we would say that food stability on the local market is something that should be in agenda of both stakeholders, government and donor community. Again, we see that in Georgia 72% of cereal is imported, and 53% of food consumed in Georgia overall is also imported from our other countries. As for the work implemented during the FSM project in Georgia in terms of gender mainstreaming, we would, talking about in general, so all the efforts were done in two main directions. One was the advocacy, policy advocacy, and the second was promotion of women's role in food security and nutrition, in agriculture production, and through campaigns, through awareness raising activities and conferences. As for the food policy advocacy, I would highlight the recommendations provided to the government of Georgia, the Ministry of Agriculture, on strategy, agriculture strategy, right? Oxfam team provided the gender analysis of those recommendations, and also provided the recommended activities describing which activities might fall under government's agenda, and which activities might fall under NGOs and donor institutions' agenda. I would also highlight several efforts that were implemented during the work. For example, Oxfam team supported dialogue between smallholder farmers and policymakers during Farmers Congress. As I already mentioned, the analysis, gender analysis of 20 recommendations were developed, and recommended action plan was provided to the Ministry of Agriculture of Georgia, and conducted several studies in support of, to find out the women's role in food security and nutrition. Conducted study with special emphasis on gender aspects of food security, security pushes the decisions on FSN and gender by organizing a number of conferences on gender and FSN, and as I mentioned, conducted campaigns, several campaigns focusing on women's role in food security and nutrition sector. Several publications were developed and disseminated through those campaigns, plus through partner institutions, and which is the and coming to an end of the presentation, I would highlight that the point that all these activities, all these efforts that were implemented during the project needs some continuation, and we consider GARD as a GARD and Bridge as appropriate platform to continue those efforts in terms of advocacy, in terms of capacity awareness rising, and attracting attention of more institutions to genderize the food security and nutrition. We still need help here, so. Yeah. Plus, to advocacy efforts and awareness raising campaigns, good input in continuation of those efforts could be the demonstration projects, small-scale projects that all the donors working in agriculture development, supporting government of Georgia with implementation of agricultural reforms can implement locally in regions as a demonstration projects, demonstrating the importance of allocating more resources on strengthening women's roles and women's capacity to develop women's capacity to better perform their duties on farming, managing farms and the future perspectives. So as I mentioned, actually two key directions, the advocacy and awareness raising should be continued in order to get the tangible results, and platform of GARD and Bridge can be the key players in this process, and plus again I would focus on implementing, offering the demonstration projects of implementing these policies on place, and also one of the recommendations would be to continue also awareness raising and with the focus on disseminating information on best practices of women, successes of women in farming and food security. As for the gender mainstreaming, I'm sure that we know that similar approach, similar work was done in Armenia as well, and we will hear from our colleagues about the work implemented and the achievements and challenges that still present. Thank you. Okay. But before that, I would ask our colleague Nina Dilashvili to share her ideas about gender mainstreaming in food security. Nina was involved in the implementation of food security project in Georgia from the very beginning. And I'm sure that her assumptions, her recommendations, and her ideas will be available and interesting for us to.
Thank you, Katie. And thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this panel today. Yes, indeed, I was involved from the beginning of this project, and we've been thinking a lot how to make sure that gender mainstreaming is done from the very beginning of the project implementation phase. First of all, just to have a very brief recap of what gender mainstreaming means. It is simply a concept, a strategy, how to make sure that all the policies that are implemented in the country does not work against women and does not perpetuate gender equality within the country. So at the end of the day, gender mainstreaming is a tool to achieve gender equality. In our country, our government has pledged to support the process of achieving gender equality. And for this purpose, all the line ministries have agreed to assign the gender focal points within all the line ministries, including the Ministry of Agriculture. What does it mean? Having the gender advisor within the ministry means that all the policies and new initiatives that the government or the parliament initiates does not work against women in particular. So what has it to do with the food security policies in general? So gender and food security can be a very distanced concept, but at the end of the day, it's very intertwined in a way. So if we deconstruct food security in a very simple terms, which is food production and food consumption, we know that women have a very active role in terms of food production, which means that all the elements of food production, including from the access to land, access to finance, access to information, which is the three main elements in terms of sustainable food production, women are there. So half of the population and half of the workforce in Georgia especially, women are involved in the agricultural sector. So when we are talking about gender mainstreaming policies in food security, we are more important to talking about some of the main areas, some of the most crucial areas of food security, which is access to land. For example, if we assume that women are not the owners of the land, or women have less access to land, it means that there is a huge gap in terms of gender and food security. According to the recent database, we know that around 20% of the whole landowners are women only. And at the same time, women are the main producers of food. So there is this obvious discrepancy in terms of women and the ownership of land, which is very much intertwined with the food security in general. So what we are proposing is that government should take a proactive role in terms of supporting women, in terms of accessing land, and in terms of being the owners of the land. At some point, of course, government cannot introduce this sort of affirmative actions in terms of making sure that women have access to land, but we go back to the point of problem, which is a very stereotypical society where ownership of land and ownership of assets goes back to male family members rather than female. So one of the main areas that we as an NGO can work on is to make sure that all the women who have a desire to access land and who have a desire to be owners of the land, they do not face the barriers, including whether it's stereotypical barriers or some institutional barriers. As for now, Georgia does not have institutional barriers, but stereotypes are there, and we have to tackle those. Access to land is very much intertwined to access to finance, and we know that in the previous panel we've been talking about the access to finance, and access to land is one of the main determinants in terms of access to finance, which means that land in most cases can act as a collateral and as a prerequisite to access to finance. So it's, these two concepts is very much intertwined. And finally, dissemination of information. We know that lots of efforts are being made in terms of raising awareness of farmers in general to be better food producers. But we are always facing the fact that women are mostly excluded for such kind of discussions. And we have also faced the number of occasions where in certain trainings, in certain information dissemination initiatives, women are simply excluded. Whether they are not allowed to go out of the house or they are not proactively invited to the information sessions. All these little steps further distance women from the food production cycle, which is at some point very detrimental to food security in general, and also does not contribute to achieving gender equality at large. So to sum up, we have to make sure that all the policies that we implement, be it in food security or in other spheres of societal life, whatever government is trying to achieve, the government should take into consideration the potential impact of the policy towards rights of women and in gender equality in general. So gender mainstreaming can act as a tool. It's not an end, it just means to an end. So it means that gender mainstreaming should serve as a tool to achieve better gender equality, and also make sure that those policies that are implemented contribute to food security in general and also empowerment of women at large. Yeah, that was the main points that I would like to address within the speech, and I'll be happy to discuss the further details in relation to Georgian case study. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
So, yeah, maybe I will use this microphone. Yeah, right now. Yeah, can you hear me? I think. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for very interesting presentations on behalf of the work that was implemented in Georgia. I think that this type of forums, this type of meetings is very important for all of us, just to see and to understand what our colleagues in other neighboring countries are doing. And for me, it's incredibly important to know that let's say almost the same work is done in Georgia, and that we can share our experiences and just to learn from difficulties of our work in both countries. So with great pleasure, I will try to present my understanding of the gender mainstreaming issues and gender issues in food security programming, and will try to present the work that was implemented in Armenia in terms of gender mainstreaming of food security. You know, I was worrying that it will be the same presentation with Katie, but now I saw that it could not be the same. And even if we are talking about the same issues, and even we are talking about the same pillars of food security, we have a lot of points that could be added to the presentations. And my perspective, my understanding of this gender problems in food access area is mainly related to the points listed of the presentation. So I would like to discuss this issue in terms of household purchasing power. I would like to discuss this issue from the point of view of female-headed households. And in terms of female-headed households in Armenia, we have a very difficult situation because of very high rates of migration registered in Armenia. We have more than 80%, let's say 80% of population that are migrating or seasonal migrants or are going to migrate from Armenia. And in some cases, we have registered and official statistics that are saying that we have a lot of women-headed households, but at the same time, we should know that unofficial statistics is much higher than official one. And in that case, we have a very difficult situation because from the one hand, because of very large spread and widespread stereotypes, women are not allowed to work outside home. From the other hand, they should take this responsibility to be head of the household and just to feed their children. Talking about purchasing power, I would like to talk about the pay gap that also exists in Armenia. So according to the statistics, women have only 55 and 9% of men wages, which means that in case of women-headed households, we have less income than in case of men-headed households. And we can plus another point to that as lack of opportunities for women, pay gap, and at the same time that in case of women-headed households, we have only one income in the households, so obtained only with one person, with women. And it is, in reality, it's very sad because all the research showed that in case women have high income, they can obtain the education and food for their children. And in case it is only men's responsibility, it is not enough for the family. So we have, in Armenia, we have quite high rate of poverty, and we can class these women-headed households as another point that added to this party level. At the same time, I would like to add a little bit on a difference on access to reproductive assets between male and female households. And of course, again, to come back to the land ownership. We are talking about this issue for a long period of time, I think since 90s, but unfortunately nothing changed in that area. And even recently, during one of the discussions devoted to the localization, nationalization of sustainable development goals, when the issue of land ownership was raised, again the answer from the government structures was, okay, we heard about that issue, but we have what we have, we are not going to change anything, it is not possible to change anything. Are you going to start this nationalization, this ownership process once again? Enough, we are not going to talk about it. So again, we are talking about a very important issue, equality of rights, and again we are having answer. Enough, don't talk about that. So in reality, it is more a very important issue because we are not talking about the feeling of being equal with the men. We are talking about food security, and we are talking about access to credits that was discussed today. We are talking about economic possibilities for women, which is just impossible without land ownership, and in rural areas particularly. So I think that this is another point that is adding to the risks in terms of food access. Talking about women less participation and less representativeness on the decision-making level, I would like to start with rural communities. Communities and the committees, food agricultural committees. Unfortunately, being a majority of population, of rural population, women are not enrolled with this type of committees. And the simple explanation, and sometimes we can hear about that they have not enough education. They are not enough educated to participate in the discussions. From the one point of view, it is not true. But from the other side, it is true. Because if we are talking about the education, special education received by women in agricultural area, okay, we have very low rates of high educated women in agricultural area. And again, it is not only because of stereotypes, but also because of the attitude and because of lack of opportunities for women to afford to provide some time for additional education. And another issue is coming is double burden of women and double burden of women in agricultural area, in rural areas as well. So a lot of issues could be observed under this food access issue, and unfortunately, not all the issues yet fully recognized in Armenia. And I would like to use this opportunity to stress once again that we need a lot of research and we need a lot of efforts towards understanding of this issue in Armenia as well. Another pillar of food security is food utilization, and I think that Kathy described the situation very good, and I would like just to add about the, and of course the problems of overweight and underweight of children is very important. But at the same time, we have another very interesting problem which related to the pregnant and reproductive aged women. I think that it is quite understandable that this is one of the main, let's say, according to the societal perception, one of the main role of women is her reproductive role. But at the same time, we are doing nothing to ensure the best quality of reproduction in our countries. And unfortunately, I'm not talking about only reproductive rights, but I'm talking about the equal approach. And in case women for some period of time should be excluded from the productive work, they should have enough possibility to survive during that period. But having in mind that women employed, and not employed, let's say, working in the agricultural area, which is mainly an informal work, have no access to social benefits. They have no access to paid maternity leave, they have no access to other sick leaves and other possibilities. And it is also adding to the problem of reproductive aged women and child security and food security as well. While talking about food availability, which is the next pillar of food security, I would like to pay attention to the last point, to the decision making. Sometimes when we are talking about gender equality, people think that we are talking only about decision making and women participation in decision making, and mainly they are taking this issue as a women participation in politics. Unfortunately, in every area of life, in any point of our discussion, we should understand that decision making is not only in politics. Decision making exists in every level, and unfortunately, women are excluded from decision making in any point of our life. Unfortunately, it starts with the family, and a very well-known situation like, let's say, economic abuse, when even the income obtained, insured by women is not used by themselves, and the decision about this income is not taken by themselves. Another level of to be excluded from the decision making is the decision making on community level, and then it is up to the upper levels of decision making. But unfortunately, this women exclusion from the decision making is having very ensuring, let's say, a lot of problems for all of us, because it means that any policy in the Republic, any policy taken, any decision taken could be considered as destructive, because it could be constructive only in case all groups of populations participated in that decision. Unfortunately, women are excluded just because of stereotypical thinking, just because of lack of opportunities to participate and to be involved in any type of discussions. From the other hand, as I have already said, one of the main reasons for being excluded is lack of knowledge. And again, I would like to underline that this is not only about education, not formal education, and not only about higher education, our postgraduate education, which is very strong in Armenia, but we are talking also about participation in different types of trainings. Last year we examined a number of people participating in trainings in agriculture, and unfortunately we saw that even having in mind that women are we have more women in Armenia than men. Even in that case, even having in mind the migration rates, women participation in training on agricultural issues is less than men participation. It is very strange and very paradoxical, but at the same time it exists. The other problem that is also very important, I think, in this regard is just a lack of self-confidence among women. Being excluded from these decision-making processes for a long period of time, women just cannot, let's say, not help themselves, but just to be so self-confident to propose themselves for the decision-making. And we have a lot of reasons to say that this is true. Yeah. So I have very little time, and I would like to conclude with the food stability issues. When we are talking about food stability and any type of sustainability and stability, of course we are talking about demographic situation, which is one of the painful issues for Armenia. We have low rates of childbirth, we have high rates of mortality. We are in very difficult democratic situation. But at the same time, again and again, we cannot understand that nowadays a number of researchers just coming to once again underline that only in case women have enough access to assets, then women have enough access to economic opportunities, and only in case women are employed, they are ready to produce people. I mean, they are ready to participate and to betterize the demographic situation. Just let us understand it once again. And in that case, we will, I am sure that we will be able to understand all other issues with ownership, with business opportunities, and even to help women to understand and to design another coping strategies that they can have. Just coming to the work done in that regard in Armenia in cooperation with Oxfam and in terms of gender mainstreaming of food security programming, I would like to say that we were, our organization were lucky enough to be involved in the gender mainstreaming of, let's say, main programs regarding agriculture in Armenia, but we started with the gender mainstreaming of one of the regional programs, and it was very interesting work and very interesting experience that once again underlined that unfortunately gender issues are not treated as important issues nowadays for decision makers. But I think that my colleague Lilith will talk about this process a little bit more. I would like just to say that it was a difficult process, but we were lucky enough, and some points, some gender mainstream points were adopted with the strategy on agricultural sustainable development. And we also initiated the development of the manual on how to mainstream gender and how to mainstream gender and how to implement gender analysis in agricultural areas. And these manuals were adopted by the government and were printed and disseminated among, let's say, representative of governmental structures and in all areas of Armenia as well. And a number of policy briefs on gender and agricultural development were prepared in Armenia. Of course, all this work were accompanied with the number of training for rural women, for cooperative heads, I mean all the beneficiaries of Oxfam programs. And the most importance I would like to give to the trainings and discussions implementing with the members of Agri-Alliance members, which was, I think, very, very important because the knowledge was disseminated not only through Oxfam channels, but through the channels of other organizations participating in this alliance. And of course, while working on gender mainstreaming of the main programs, state programs, we had a number of meetings and, let's say, capacity building meetings with the local self-governance, body representatives, Mars authorities, and governmental structures. Our next, thank you very much for helping me. I think that while talking about gender stereotypical attitude to these issues, it's very important to underline the importance of awareness raising, and not only capacity building, but awareness raising at all levels. And that's why Promedia Gender is using its channels to spread the information about the importance of paying attention to gender equality issue and women involvement in all types of projects and programs. And we are doing it from our main sources. The, let's say one of the visit cards of Promedia Gender Organization is our website, WomenNet website, and on this website you can find a lot of information, and not about food security, but we have a special part for food security issues on the site, and we are using that for dissemination of the information. The other very important undertaking of Promedia Gender NGO and supported by Oxfam within the framework of that program is the newspaper inside Women and Politics. And two issues of this newspaper were dedicated to the food security issues and women in agriculture. And this newspaper was disseminated through the main newspapers, daily newspapers, the Republic of Armenia, Հայաստանի Հանրապետություն, official newspaper and the, let's say, ruling party newspaper, and another Aravok newspaper, which is, let's say, opposite party newspaper. And at the same time, it was, a lot of information was also printed on women stories, etc. And as the last sentence that I will say is the initiative of Oxfam, so-called female hero contest, food female hero contest, and our organization also participated in that contest by preparing women's stories, stories of prominent women that are involved in agricultural production and that are innovative. So thank you very much, and sorry for being so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Regina. So we have just 5 minutes, because we need to ask open the discussion with the meeting participants, and we want to get, it would be really interesting to get the feedback from the state institutions, from the Oxford staff on perspectives and on the results achieved and how to achieve the better results in gender mainstream state programs. So,
շատ լավ ես կազմակերպում եմ ժամանակում ուղղակի հայերեն խոսալու, ասեմ, որ Ջինան արդեն նշեց այն բոլոր ամբողջ աշխատանքի համար, որ նախորդել է կենտրոնային հաղորդմանը, ես ուղղակի ավելացնեմ, որ 2013 թվականին մի հետազոտություն ենք արել, որը կոչվում է կանանց դերն ու ներուժը գյուղատնտեսական արժեշտային Օքսֆամի հովանու ներքո, եւ այն ժամանակ առաջին անգամ կարծես թե բախվեցինք այդ խնդրին, որ մի կողմից կանայք առանցքային մասնակցություն ունեն գյուղատնտեսական արժեշտային բոլոր օղակներում, մյուս կողմից ակտայեցից կան հավասարությունը, որը արտադրում է կանանց աշխատանքի եւ կենցաղի անբարենպաստ պայմաններով, վարկերի եւ ռեսուրսների սահմանափակման, սոցիալական պաշտպանվածության ցածր մակարդակով, կանանց ոչ բավարար մասնակցությամբ իրենց իսկ վերաբերող համայնքային որոշումների։ Եվ երբ սոցիալ-տնտեսական ծրագիրը Տաուշի մարզի շահություններին, զուգահեռաբար արդեն երկրորդ մենք արդեն գիտենք, որ գյուղատնտեսության 2015-25 թվականների կառույցի զարգացման ծրագրի կենտրոնային հողումն են կանելու եւ այդ պատճառով բոլոր այդ փոփոխությունների ժամանակ, խորացած դիտարկումների ժամանակ մենք փորձում ենք հասկանալ ինչ կարիքներ ունեն կանայք եւ տղամարդիկ եւ ինչպես է քաղաքականությունը անդրադառնում այդ կարիքներին եւ ինչպիսին են այդ քաղաքականության արդյունքները, որովհետեւ դա մեզ օգներ, որ ավելի մասնակցային դարձնեինք մեր այդ աշխատանքը։ Իհարկե, ուղղորդման ժամանակ մենք հենվել ենք բոլոր այն կարևոր փաստաթղթերի վրա, որ կային միջազգային եւ ազգային ասպարեզում, դա կանանց նկատմամբ խտրականության բոլոր ձևերի վերացման ՄԱԿ-ի կոնվենցիաներ, Պեկինի գործողությունների ծրագիրը, կայուն զարգացման ծրագիրը հետո արդեն ավելացավ եւ բացի այդ մենք ունենք ազգային ծրագրեր, դա կենտրոնային քաղաքականության պետական հայեցակարգն է, որ հաստատվել է 2010 թվականին եւ 2013 թվականին հաստատված կանանց եւ տղամարդկանց հավասար իրավունքների եւ հավասար հնարավորությունների մասին օրենքը։ Առաջին հանդիպումները, որ նախարարության հետ ունեցանք շահի զարգացման ծրագրի կենտրոնային հաղորդման ժամանակ, հետևյալն էր։ Ինչու եք դուք մտածում, որ մենք կանանց մասին չենք մտածում, մենք նույնպես մտածում ենք, որ գրածել հա, ընդհանուր չէ դուք եք գրված, բայց դե պարզ չի, որ երբ որ ասում ենք գյուղական բնակչություն, մենք նկատում ենք նաև կանանց։ Վիճակագրական տվյալները այդքան շատ չէին, ճիշտն ասած, բայց այն ինչը որ կար, մեզ օգնեց, որ մենք հնչեցնենք պրոբլեմները, եւ մենք ասացինք, որ դուք գիտեք, որ Հայաստանի բնակչության 35%-ն է ընդգրկված գյուղատնտեսության ոլորտում, որից 56%-ը կանայք են, որ զգալի է կանանց եւ տղամարդկանց եկամուտների տարբերությունը գյուղատնտեսության ոլորտում եւ այն ավելի մեծ է, քան ընդհանուր հանրապետականում 56% եւ ասում մինչեւ որ այսօր Հայաստանում տնային տնտեսությունների 27%-ը գլխավորում են կանայք, իսկ մեր շրջի հաշվով այդ տնտեսությունների ամսական եկամուտը մոտ 2 անգամ ցածր է տղամարդ գլխավորող տնային տնտեսությունների մեկ շրջի հասնող ամսական եկամուտից։ Ընդ որում Դինան արդեն ասեց, որ հա, վիճակագրական տվյալները այսպիսին են, բայց չէ որ մենք գիտենք, որ իրականում այդ թիվը ավելի մեծ է, ուղղակի Տրամփային հետազոտության ժամանակ երբ են կանայք ասում, որ իրենք են գլխավորում տնային տնտեսությունը, երբ ընդհանրապես տղամարդը կողքին չի, երբ կապներ չկա, երբ նրա հետ որևիցե կապ, նույնիսկ հեռախոսային կապ չկա, եթե հեռախոսային կապը կա, եթե կինը նույնիսկ եթե օգնությունից զրկված է, միշտ ասում է, որ չէ, ընտանիքի ղեկավարը դա ամուսինս է։ Եվ շատ էին այդ կանանց մեջ նաև կանայք, որոնք ընդհանրապես ամուսնացած չէին, եւ այս խնդիրները իհարկե բավականին լուրջ ոնց որ հնչող փաստեր են։ Երբ որ վարկավորման մասին ենք խոսում, մենք ուշադրություն դարձրեցինք, որ այս տրամադրված վարկերի միայն 15%-ն է բաժանում կանանց։ Երբ որ օպերացիաների մասին ենք խոսում, իսկ օպերացիան դա այն ուղին է, որոնցով որ կանանց կարելի է ներգրավել եւ ավելի մասնակցային դարձնել նրանց աշխատանքը գյուղատնտեսության ոլորտում, մենք ունենք 115 օպերատիվ, որոնց անդամների 25%-ն են կանել, իսկ ղեկավար կազմում վարչություններում կանանց թիվը բավականին փոքր էր։ Վիճակագրական տվյալների հետ կապված միշտ պրոբլեմներ ճիշտ ասած այն ժամանակային, բայց հիմա մի փոքր վիճակը փոխվել է, որտեղ կա գյուղատնտեսության համատարած հաշվառման կենտրոնային համատարած հաշվառումը, որը նաև ունի կենտրոնային տեսանկյուն, բայց էլի տվյալները մեզ հերիք չեն ուղղացնում եւ դժվարությունների հետ կապված եւ մարտահրավերների ասենք, որ մենք ունենք հետեւյալ պատկերը։ Կենտրոնային ուղղորդումից հետո 15-20 թվականներին, երբ որ կառավարության փոփոխություն տեղի ունեցավ, մենք ստիպված եղանք նոր կառավարության համար նորից նոր աշխատանք կատարել եւ 16-25 թվականների համար նորից այդ աշխատանքը անել։ Բայց ինչպես ասեցին գործընկերները, այս ծրագիրը դեռևս ընդունված չի, ռազմավարությունը ընդունված չի։ Եվ ինչպես դուք այսօր արդեն նախարարության ներկայացուցիչ ելույթի ժամանակ նկատեցիք, բռնումը կենտրոնային հարցերի կարևորության այնքան էլ մեծ չի։ Այսինքն մենք էլի զրոյից ենք սկսելու աշխատանք նախարարության հետ։ Վիճակագրության հետ կապված, չնայած կա համատարած հաշվառումը, որը 10 տարի մեկ է արվում եւ սա առաջին անգամն է, որ Հայաստանում արվեց, եւ դրա շնորհիվ մենք իմացանք, որ օրինակ ըստ կրթական մակարդակի գյուղատնտեսության ոլորտում ընդգրկված տնային տնտեսությունների ղեկավարների 12%-ը ունի միջնակարգություն կանայք եւ 39% կանայք, նախնական եւ միջին մասնագիտական ընդհանրապես 4% կանայք ունի կրթություն եւ 16% տղամարդկանց, իսկ բարձրագույն կրթություն ունեցողները 3% կանայք են եւ 11% տղամարդիկ։ Այսինքն ինչպես Ջինան ասեց, թեպետ կրթական մակարդակի հարաբերությունը բարձր է 58% բարձրագույն կրթություն ունեցողների կանայք են, բայց գյուղատնտեսության մեջ նրանք ովքեր գլխավորում են տնտեսությունները, նրանք կրթական մակարդակը այսօր բարձր չի, չենք ասում գյուղատնտեսական աշխատանք կրթության մասին։ Վարձու աշխատողների մեջ կանայք կազմում են այսօր 27%, եւ եթե ամփոփեմ ուղղակի, ասեմ, որ նախնական պայմանավորվածություն կա վիճակագրական ծառայության հետ, իրենք ասեցին, որ իրականում իրենց տվյալները շատ են, քան այն ինչը որ հրապարակվել է, եւ իրենք խոստացան գյուղդաշինքի միջոցով ոչ միայն օժանդակել մեզ լրացուցիչ տվյալներ տալով հետազոտության համար եւ ռազմավարության կենտրոնային ուղղորդման, այլ նաեւ խոստացան, որ կարիքների վերհանում կանեն եւ կհասկանան, թե ինչի պակաս ունենք մենք այս ոլորտում եւ ինչով իրենք կարող են մեզ օգնել։ Եվ մարտահրավերների մեջ շատ լուրջ մարտահրավեր է, ինչպես երեք մեր workshop-ում մենք դրա մասին հնչեցրեցինք, դա անտիգենտեր շարժումն է, որը մեզ շատ է խանգարում եւ Ջինան ասեց քիչ առաջ, որ կարող զարգացման 7 կետի հետ կապված քննարկում էր արդարադատության նախարարությանը, դրան պատկերացրեք, որտեղ որ կենտրոնային հիմնախնդիրներ են քննարկվում, որտեղ մենք մնում ենք այդ քննարկմանը մասնակցելու, այդ բոլոր տեղերում նաև անտիկենտեր շարժման ներկայացուցիչներն են։ Օրինակ, երբ որ Ջինան ասեց, որ սեփականության շատ փոքր տոկոսն է կանանց, իրանք ասեցին ինչ տարբերություն, ասեցին բավարար է ոնց վերցնենք, իրանք ասում են, հա, ասեց, որ գնանք, նույնիսկ կստիպեք, որ մենք երեխա ունենանք համարտից։ Այսինքն այստեղ խնդիրներ կան եւ ուրախ կլինենք նրա պատասխանենք։
Thank you. I want to thank my colleagues for coming and sharing information with us about implementation work, achievements, challenges, and perspectives. I would like our colleagues in the hall, meeting participants, to get your feedback, your ideas about gender mainstreaming of state programs, state projects, policy, FSM policy. What should be done in order to move from recommendations to the genderized policy, and in order to come to the projects where we see the equal attitude towards women and men, and to see that in project implementation, project administration processes. I'm talking about state programs and state projects. Gender aspect is considered and is under the loop, under the attention of the policymakers and public servants.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Just a question. Thank you very much for the presentations. They are really very thorough. Obviously, a lot of work has been done within the scope of the food security program in order to mainstream gendering food security policies and procedures. And I would like to ask such a rhetorical question. If you were given an opportunity to have financial resources additional, what are the priority interventions that you would like to push forward as a logical continuation of what has been done in order to continue all that has been achieved so far? So highlight 3 main areas or 3 main concrete actions, and it might be research, it might be concrete policy work. It depends, like in both countries. I'm just very much interested. What would be the topic of your next proposal for continuing this efforts in both countries? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I will try all panel participants to respond very briefly to this question to
both countries, probably to Gina and Nino, yeah.
So the question was, what should be the next 3 key activities, key interventions in order to continue the process for both?
Thank you, Zara, for your question. Basically, we are talking about the gender mainstreaming, which is itself a strategy, how the government should do the policy work in general, not only in food security, but in general. It's an approach. And in general, what we would like to see is that if we are taking through the lens of food security policies, which, as we have seen, is a huge list of areas that can bringing together all these areas, you get the food security policies in general, including nutrition, food production, and food consumption. So probably what could be one of the added values towards this process is that NGOs, like especially Alliance, continues the policy monitoring process throughout the after the finishing of these interventions. That all the new policies, all the new initiatives that come into play are gender sensitive, and it does not discriminate women for the years to come. That's one thing. Another one is that probably we should not forget the value of campaigning all the time, because campaigning, the gender equality is a long-term process. We cannot achieve it, as we know, within the decades. And food security can be a means to an end. Like the Food Security Project and the project of this kind can be a means to an end to achieving greater gender equality. But gender equality does not exist in vacuum, in isolation, as a standalone concept. It should be constantly mainstreamed in all the policies that the government is implementing in the country. So from this perspective, probably tackling the stereotypes is another area that the NGO sector can bring very good benefits and contribute towards taking this issue forward. In terms of deconstructing gender stereotypes, we are talking about fully fledged campaigning. So we should not undervalue the essence of campaigning as well. So probably this would be two main areas from my side that I would like to see to continue in the future.
Thank you, Alina. Gina?
Thank you very much. You know, I will try to be not very much philosophical in my answers, but when we are talking about gender mainstreaming, unfortunately, we are talking about gender mainstreaming of papers. And unfortunately, all the work done could be on paper only. So in reality, we are lacking a full understanding of the necessity of this type of approach. And I fully agree with my colleagues. We should start with changing our approach, with changing our attitude, which maybe one day will result with change of behavior. But in case we will be able to change our attitude to that, we will be able to make, maybe we would not need to mainstream any paper at all. But to do that, and in that case I will start with campaigning. To do that, we need just to help people to understand what is the real challenge in them. And what is the real challenge for women who participate in that? And what is the real challenge for the country in case women are not participating in that processes? So, and all this information, I mean, all this work should be evidence-based. So, first of all, we need research. Secondly, we need statistics. Thirdly, we need to be able to disseminate the information and the statistics we have, and to pay special attention on the consequences for the country in case women are excluded from this type of processes and the gender equality is not taken into account during MINT-1. And as a result of all this, I very much hope that we will have political will. And in case of political will, we will have all types of papers mainstream with gender equality issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have
Ես ուղղակի ավելացնեմ, որ հենց այդ պատճառով մենք պարտադիր ենք համարում մասնակցությունը պլանավորման շուկում, պարտադիր ենք համարում գենդերային մոնիտորինգը իրականացման փուլում, գնահատումը, որ ծրագիրը արդեն ավարտվում է, եւ այդ ամենի հիման վրա բարելավման փաթեթի ներկայացում։ Այստեղ դա շարունակական։
Can I ask another question, please? Can I, just one more question, as a continuation of the first one, sorry. Would like to specify, from Nina's perspective, it was obvious that you highlighted the policy monitoring that we need to do, and I totally agree with you. Can we just say that as a precondition for doing the monitoring, policy monitoring, we need first of all the framework to be developed, policy framework, monitoring framework, so that based on that conduct the monitoring. Do we have in Georgia the monitoring framework for gender?
Sorry, what do you mean by monitoring framework?
Just to understand how we're going to do that policy monitoring, like the strategy, not the strategic document, but concrete mechanisms, tools to be used for conducting the monitoring of the gender mainstreaming.
Research is one of the main tools. So the idea is that the alliance, which is one of the main tasks of alliance, and the mandate of the alliance is to make sure that the policies that are implemented are being monitored and evaluated. So the monitoring cannot be done without research and proper analysis. So what we are thinking, my thought around this idea was that Alliance has used the role and has used the mandate, which by the way, it's already this mandate to make sure that the policies that are implemented in the agricultural sector are gender sensitive. So the assumption is that it's a recurrent process, a perpetual process. So one day government might introduce new policy, new initiative, new strategy. It needs to be read through thoroughly, and the Alliance position should be declared as a position of Alliance, whether it's gender sensitive, whether it contributes to gender equality, or it detriments or perpetuates gender inequality in general. So it's an Alliance role that I see as an instrumental in terms of making sure that not watchdog, but a body that will ensure that new policies that are being introduced is analyzed in general.
Yeah, just one note. I know that Levan also has a question. Thank you very much. I would like to understand whether we need any more specific researches that should be done in the area of gender mainstreaming in this area in order to take up for further steps. Like that was my initial first question. If we have now funds for gender mainstreaming, what would you do? What would you suggest? What other research as an evidence, if we lack that evidence still, should be done? What research you need to do? And if not, if you just say that you have sufficient evidence already, then the monitoring should be done. How you're going to do this? Yeah, my point is, do you need any further evidence in order to continue monitoring of the policy? So, thank you.
I'm not sure if I understood the question
Maybe allow me to ask, I think it's partially the answer. I think on the part of the messaging, we are lacking a certain killing element of this to influence the gender blind, to influence the overwhelmed by stereotypes. And the research that you mentioned, we should be concentrated on that. For example, recently I learned, and it was recent research in the United States, on the value of the non-paid roles of women in the family. And they have monetized it according to the US prices, and it was a really killing conclusion that the women who are not paid for their caring roles in the family, it values almost $140,000 annually. I mean, if the gender blind person learns about that, I think it starts to reflect rightly, because it's not only the rights-based issue, but it's also an issue in relation to justice. Very simple justice. Another example. Recently, I think it was FAO's research. I don't know how they grounded it. In case if we ensure globally that women's participation in the economic activity is ensured fully, the global GDP increases by 10%. I mean, this is a killing message, and this is even a killing message for a person who never dealt with such a specific issues. Actually, to start reflecting, because when we're talking about the transformative interventions, I mean, how can we do it to make it really moving, rather than only declamation of the need? What would be your reaction to that? Thank you.
Just in words, fully agree with you, and that's why I was saying about the evidence-based approach, and that's why I was saying that we should pay special attention on the consequences for our countries for women participation in economic activities, and that was based on defining the futures for our countries.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think I kind of understand what you mean about the tools, and this also reflects to you talking about how it translates into practice. And I think what we're lacking at the moment is having gender focal points in the ministry, capacitated ones who can also analyze this gender mainstreaming quality of the policies and how they're implemented And I think often we do have gender focal points in some of the ministries, but are they highly qualified? Do they know how to give feedback whether the ministries are doing a good job or not? And another mechanism that could be introduced is also to allow institutionalization of implementation monitoring. So allow institutionalization of feedback from the civil society who are experts in this area to give feedback to the government whether these policies are working for women and whether they are in practice, in fact, having an impact that they intended to have. And I think that's the role of civil society, to provide that minority voice back to the government. And if this process is institutionalized and the government is open to get this feedback from the civil societies and alliances alike, then we can start thinking about collaborative processes, democratic processes that do work towards real impact on the ground.